Hey everyone, some quick production notes here. We are releasing a few episodes slightly out of order from how we recorded them to better line up with the kickoff schedule. And since we spoil it in this episode anyway, I'm happy to say you can expect another 2 full episodes from us this week for both Pacific and America's kickoff, so stay tuned. You'll also notice that Babybay is absent from the start of this episode because he was preparing to potentially evacuate LA due to the fires, but fortunately he is okay and was actually able to join us later on the show. Thanks everybody, and enjoy the episode.
Spike planted.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to SpikeTalk, episode 29. I'm obviously not Babybay. I'm producer Steve, just moderating today's episode in lieu of Babybay, who's currently dealing with some of the craziness in LA. We've got 2 incredible guests with us today. A big welcome to Yinsu and Chobra. Thanks so much for joining us, guys.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's a joy. I've been waiting to come on here and yap because I could definitely match the yapping on the show.
I honestly only said yes because of Dre, so he's not here, so I'm dipping. See you later, guys.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm kidding.
I like newest friend on the show, and you're gonna do me like that right off the rip? Nah, it's all good.
No, the worst part is like, tell me how you really feel without actually having to say how you really feel.
No, okay, I will have you know, because I know Jovi is next to you, that when he told me that he like knew you and Dre and he was like mates with you guys, I went, that's such a green flag. Like, ask him, because I was like, that is a really green flag thing to bring up. So yeah, I would never say anything bad about you guys.
Respect.
So I actually don't have much competitive valor and insight, as I know you guys hear me chime in now and then, so I'm just going to kind of make sure things keep moving along today, and Frost can talk enough for the both of us anyway. So to kick it off, I mean, like, we talked about it a little bit with the Pacific group of guys as well. How do you guys feel about the new agent?
Yeah, so I actually wanted to bring this up, Frost, because I was catching up on, I guess at the time of this recording, 2 episodes ago, right? So 27, and you're like, well, now with Neon being nerfed, it's all kind of back to square one, and we can play proper Valorant and whatnot. So how are you feeling about Tejo in that situation?
My nickname for him is Pendejo, which I'll let the young kids Google what that means. I would just say that the Hector from that show was stupid and mistaken.
Wow.
And the Hector from that show wishes, the Hector from this show wishes that he lived in the universe of the Hector from that world now.
Where things are normal, so to speak.
Where Neon is, yes.
Okay, I have a question for that question. Who's playing Tejo on your team?
Ooh. That is a fantastic question. I'll give you a hint. I think if you have an aimer that does not think and can't handle a lot of variables, you just throw them on Tejo.
So
or
okay,
as I so eloquently put it, pendejo. And since I'm only going to say this one more time, the last time, pendejo. Now, the reason I'm going to stop is because I realized something on an episode that you guys will see later or before.
Yeah.
You guys will have to figure it out. The mistake of saying pendejo on broadcast because you're around people like me, I'm going to get you in trouble. So because I love both of you, I'm not going to say anything anymore like that to confuse you.
Okay, to be fair, I did once say Papi Chulo on broadcast, but I didn't know what that meant, and I said it.
I mean, that's not...
Wait, but that's not actually bad, right? Because we've had to say his name several times.
Yeah,
and it was actually Papi Chulo.
Right.
I have another question. Sorry, I'm taking over the questions. I can't help it.
Bro.
Who do we have any? Do you guys feel like there can be some early doors shouts on a leading Tejo player as we head into kickoff? Because I feel like there could be a couple of standout players that I think should either play it or could be good. So I want to see.
I kind of already named them. I'm not going to do this publicly though because I'm going to leave it to the imaginations. But no, I just kind of softly answered the questions while also disrespecting some unlucky players. Unlucky, tough.
I mean, come on,
I have all you,
Chobra. Yeah.
Oh, you, Chobra.
I have an inkling.
There's one team that you know very well that I think is going to use that to patch some holes. I don't know.
It might be. They might be of Korean descent. Yeah. Okay. It might be.
Drop some names. We need some names. Come on.
They need them.
Yeah, I mean, listen. There's especially in the case of, I'll just say, in the case of DRX. Like they are a team of just a bunch of fresh guys.
Yeah.
Who are going to need. They have mechanical skill, but we've seen that they're struggling with the team aspect a little bit.
Right.
I
Operation
can see
Pendejo,
it.
save the day.
I could
Just had a roster change because we don't know what the fuck we're doing. Oh shit! Never mind. My bad. Yeah. So Yinsu, I hope I adequately answered your question.
You did, but I'm not a pussy like the two of you, so I'm gonna drop some names. I feel like Shao could be phenomenal on this agent, but my worry is I think Angel's gonna see this agent and be like, he's gonna get the itch. He's gonna be
patch
like,
all his holes. Oh yeah.
He's gonna be like, put me on this shit. Like, I'm not playing smokes anymore. Shao, you play some smokes. Let me do this. But I think I would like for him to not do that, and I would like Shao to really flex his muscles a little bit, because he, in my opinion, is still one of the greatest initiator players we've ever seen. So it would kind of be a shame if he doesn't at least try this a little bit. I also wondered if you feel like this could suit any sort of those pseudo IGLs, those players that's coming into the season being I've never IGL in my entire life. All of a sudden, I've got an IGL somehow, and maybe this you guys think could bail them out a little bit.
I would think so.
I think you have an excellent point about players that aren't mechanically gifted, but also very smart. I think the inverse could also be true, right? I'm already looking at it from a patching holes perspective of players that would get bopped because they just don't understand what to do. But you're saying wait, but guys that know what to do but can't really shoot can support the better ones. I don't think Shao obviously fits that description. I think it would be scary if a player like Shao. I mean, it's almost like you remember. I mean, this was a little bit of ENGH as well, but you remember how good Chronicles was on Sova? Pre-franchising. You remember the gap he had over everybody else for a pretty good period. I'd say at least 9 months. Imagine a guy like that, Shao and Tejo. That could be a massive problem because I can almost think of the situation I dealt with back then when we played Gambit, and how you can notice how good
World War II flashbacks.
Yeah. So it's I mean, if you put him on the right guy, you could have real problems, and you put him on the right team with, very competent players that can be assisted by this. I think.
Yeah. I mean, it's also just
I think that's how I feel about Vut and Rians as well. Their Heretics are about to get a buff.
Fair.
You shove one of those guys on Tejo, you're chilling.
I mean, that's the scary thing about this agent, right? Is that it's not just about plugging holes, but therefore the teams that are already good with other info and util are just now even more boosted, right? Because those have more leisure to do other things.
But the inverse is true, and this is no disrespect to Heretics or Reigns or Zinho or anybody over there, and I'm not trying to really question their acumen as much. It's just more me pointing out that, to me, Tejo forces everyone to play Counter-Strike now because you can't play with a Sentinel to watch. Think of it this way. I think this is going to cause a scenario where you run Sentinel list comps or you run very specific agents in that spot, which then means your fundamentals have to be much better, which then means that having young players that are very inexperienced, it will present a problem. And I'm not really saying that Heretics technically inexperienced, but tactical FPSs without trip, cam, turret, playing CS in Valorant with abilities is way different than playing Valorant in Valorant with abilities.
Yeah.
So I feel like NAVI have an advantage over even Heretics in the examples you've given. This is just my quick opinion on it. But that's just how I feel.
Just not the Fortnite kids.
I don't think anybody that hadn't. I don't think anyone that hasn't played Counter-Strike at a high enough level is going to acclimate very well to the fact that they can't play on specific bomb sites and areas and maps anymore. I think the way that the traditional rules are broken, you have to play it like Counter-Strike, and you have to be able to play. So this game evolved. I think it's a retakes of post plants anyway last year. Now it's not just retake post plants. It's ult economy, economy, util economy, and retakes of post plants. So I don't think it's just obviously Heretics or the Fortnite kids. I think it's everyone that didn't play Counter-Strike at that level is going to start off on the back foot early on. I think over time, people are going to acclimate for sure.
Do you guys feel like, because I've seen a lot of discourse about how obviously it's going to be on for kickoff, so teams will be trolling if they don't play this agent, and I've also seen some discourse even about how they should play on every single map, which I don't necessarily agree with. But do you also feel like if teams don't lean heavy into this agent, then they're going to be worse off?
Well, I'll go first since I know you have a lot to say about this. But I think, listen, first of all, I don't agree that he should be used on every single map. I mean, he can be just because he's so good, but I would not say that's true. I think that's people over exaggerating. But what I will say is that it's one of two things. Either you should also be using it, every team should be using it, or you better have the balls like Gen G did last year where you say, well, we just know exactly how to play against Neon. And they almost did until they didn't, right? So it's like, you could do that, but it's also like, no matter which one you choose, you only have 2 weeks to figure it out, which is, I think, the really rough part, right? Like, it's either choose to learn him or choose to not learn him and play against him. But it's like, you cannot do both at the same time in 2 weeks.
Yeah. And that's why that Jakeson tweet.
Yeah, if we can bring that up. For those who don't know, Jakeson, head of VCT Pacific, just wanted to, he just wanted to clarify the situation, which I get what he was trying to do, right? Because everyone was in an uproar. But it's basically stating what we all kind of figured would have happened, right? Like, teams were aware that this was going to happen, but it's not like you guys could scrim on it earlier or anything. And even then, it's not like it was on ranked or anything. So you get, 2 days head start than me, and now you have exactly 2 weeks. So how much time is ample time for us to prepare for a new agent here?
Okay. Take it from me. Last year.
Not enough time.
Of course. Last year, my team had new strats, new comps in 1 week, every week for a whole year. And we did it successfully. And I'm worried about Tejo. So the perception is that I'm not supposed to be. And to answer Yinsu's question more specifically from before, I think bad teams or teams that are not ready for kickoff are going to abuse the fact that Tejo exists now. And I think the volatility that we saw earlier last year is going to be exacerbated even more this year. I don't even know if I should give a I don't want to
I feel like the vibe is, because obviously if you are a fan of this game and you want to watch good Valorant and you want to be involved with the ecosystem, you are in theory rooting for the best teams at every global tournament, right? You want the best teams to go. You don't want teams to go based off of a meta or a fluke or a some kind of advantage. And I think that's what I feel like people are upset about, because it's giving this uncertainty, this sense of maybe the best teams won't go.
Aren't the best teams, right? Yeah.
Well, best teams. Yeah.
Yeah. Here's the thing: is that for one, I'm definitely of the type where I'm like, I'm all for you gotta adapt, right? Yeah, patches are part of the game. Like, I'm all for that, to be very honest, and that's why I actually really liked your approach last year, Frost. Right? It's just like, okay, we'll always be prepared for something new, because at the end of the game, that's how you're going to become the best. But also, like, I think it's also just this repetition every year of, like, the first tournament or the first 2 tournaments having asterisks next to them, right? It's just like, how much longer do we have to deal with, like, well, people arguing like, well, that Masters was like, oh, well, this came up, or, whatever else happened. And I think that's the rough part, is I think we're kind of tired of it. I will also add, though, to be very honest, for the game itself, from like a player-based standpoint, I think Tejo's great for the game, right? He's flashy, he's cool, he's easy to pick up. Like, people love him. It's great for the game. So I get it. I think he's a great agent to release. It's really the timing that is the problem.
He should just be allowed to play in season 1. Yeah, I agree.
I think I'm gonna. We had a little chat about this before we went live, but I'm gonna add another layer to why this decision has ruffled a few more feathers. I don't know if we have the schedule, the bracket of EMEA, but if we do, it'd be nice to see it. The thing I want to point to is the dates of the games that are going to be played. So if you have a look at the VCT-CM bracket, essentially every single team in round 1 or round 2 have more or less an equal amount of days to prep. Like,
I'll put up the days. January 11th
Pretty much. In China,
January
it's
12th,
like if you play on
16th
the
and the
11th, you
17th.
play the 16th.
Yeah.
If you play on the
Right.
12th, you play on the 17th. It's
Full
really
week, more or
nice.
less.
Right.
It's you know how nice that is, Hector. Like as a
of
coach,
course.
like
Consistency
you
matters.
pray for
Yes.
these days.
Of course.
However, if we take a look at EMEA with everything about Tejo and New Agent in mind, Liquid versus Koi is on the 16th, and the winner of that game have a 6-day break. They play again on the 22nd. But KC versus NAVI is on the 15th, and they got to play like 48 hours later against Vitality. Only
Right.
2 teams
That's
go to
insane.
Thailand.
That's
And no disrespect to Koi, no disrespect to Liquid, no disrespect to Apeks and Gentlemates as well. But like this advantage is really, really, really bloody big. Take in consideration that they can watch what everyone else is doing with Tejo, how the meta is shaping up. They
All
can
of China,
chill
yep.
in that time, and so on and so forth. I mean, I see why Heretics and FUT get this advantage because they did really well last year. Like, fair enough, I get it. But it does feel like those teams in the middle are getting, fucked. Can I say fucked?
You can say fuck.
Yeah.
I think.
Fucked.
Yeah, I mean, I think you make a great point there. I just am surprised why people are surprised. So I've already argued with people at Riot about this. There are people that I've spoken to in DMs and emails already about like, what the fuck is this when I found out? And I obviously don't have a great relationship with the people at Riot. So, I mean, it is what it is. But there are people I'm cool enough with that I can message like, guys, like, explain this to me. And I'm just left, kind of puzzled by this whole thing because they keep telling us every year that they need to, they had to do this because some mitigating circumstance forced their hand. And then next year it'll be better. I just want to remind everybody this one thing. Last year, Breeze changed, Sky changed right before, which I will give you an example of what happened to me last year, and I'll try to surmise it quickly. I'm leaving out a lot of detail.
Okay.
Me, Jovi, Exalt, Precision.
My boys.
Yeah. Me,
Oh,
Jovi,
my
Exalt,
boy.
Precision.
If you say boy, throw boy in there.
Boy, Aaron. Yes. Governor and Ban worked on the Breeze comp you saw that we came into kickoff because people forget we're the first team to use Yoru and Neon.
The Neon, yeah.
Right? That was because I figured, wait, with one less gap, that's one left defensive lane. So if you're going to argue this team sucks on defense, I have one less lane. And I have one character that breaks rotation timings, and I have another character that can instant TP. My defense should be good. I should be really strong if Neon is first rotate. Right? And we worked on this from, I want to say November to like right before Christmas. And then all of a sudden I find out, oh, wait, by the way, Halls is coming back, right? So let me explain to you the thought process that goes into, wait, do I just scrap everything? Because now, by the time I get to Korea, which was early January, right? Kickoff is around the corner. So the way my brain worked was, okay, do I go back and use the meta comp, which we've been practicing anyway, and we have some reps on? Do I focus on that solely? And do I use this Euro Neon thing as a pocket comp? Or do I keep this on the Breeze, try to plug it with some new probably protocols and plays, and work on other stuff and, do other things, right? So we decided to do the opposite of what most people would have done, which is just go back to the meta comp. I kept the comp with the gap and left the gap because I then focused on a Sova split pocket pick. I picked another map to go, this is what I'm going to do, right? So we go, and we obviously, I just want to remind everybody, Governor sets the ACS record on Team Secret. Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So we do that. We blow our load. We play DRX. I'm not able to beat Stacks with the Sova stuff. However, he as he so eloquently tweeted, it was one of the hardest games he's ever IGL'd. Like, wow, why the fuck was that so goddamn hard? Unlucky. A lot of preparation went into that, and we blew our load, and we missed. And then Secret comes back and goes, wait, you know what? They didn't play Halls. and they got us. And no matter what I tried to plug or patch, I didn't have the time to actually fix it. Or we go, yo, let's use the meta comp. My guys are like, did you just see? Why the fuck would we? Nah, bro. And then eventually you saw what came of that, which was we started to realize, all right, bro, if people are just going to hard antsy, let's just be ahead of them all the time, right? But this is the thought process you have to think of. You have to manage time, people, because if I spend all this time redoing all our playbooks for this offseason for Tejo, let's say, right? Okay. But now it's almost a crapshoot. Now, I did that crapshoot a lot last year, especially Primi having his first game in playoffs. How many more times, just play the probabilities, how many more times can I have success? When is luck going to rear its ugly head? So then it goes, do you just continue with your preparation and just try to be ready for Tejo, who might actually be one of the strongest characters? And I know I'm not the only person thinking like this, because I guarantee you a lot of teams had plans, and now Tejo's like, oh yeah, you want to play Vice? Oh yeah, you want to play Cypher? Oh yeah, you want to play Killjoy? Good luck trying to hold his bomb site, bro. So that's
Dre
hard.
told me Talon are rubbish anyway, so like you don't need to work that hard. Just relax. Yeah.
This is a fact, right?
He tells me this every day. Every day.
I'm kidding.
Slacking on my host duty. I was supposed to call Talon shit. My bad.
It's okay, bro. It's okay, bro. It's okay.
I wore
bro.
my jersey last episode. My bad.
We will earn Baby's respect. That's a joke because somebody I know calls him that. But anyways, we will earn the respect, or we will continue to be the laughing stock.
One or the other.
But to me, this is what makes it so complicated. Is I understand the idea of it's fun for the audience, but you said something. I believe it was you, not Yinsu. Will, you said, and I quote, I think I'm quoting that person correctly, and I think it was you. You said that fans want the best Valorant, or Riot wants the best Valorant, right?
Well, in theory, right? That's what you want.
Right, but that's not
especially
the best
at global events. Like at global events, you want to see the best Valorant. Like in theory.
This is not
right.
The idea of the best Valorant, which is like, yo, so you know what we're gonna do? By the way, none of you have mentioned this, but this has been bothering me for a long time too. This is one of the things I told Riot. People keep talking about Tejo and Pendejo, but they are not talking about this is Vice's first time in VCT. So not only did teams have to prepare for Vice, they now have to go, wait, what about Tejo? Or what about the fact that a team like, let's say T1 is showing, oh, we like Vice. Vice is the future. And now it's like, oh, yeah, you want to play defense? Yeah, good luck, kid. With Tejo, the Pendejo, you're about to be Sova droned and KO darted. Good luck trying to be here.
I'm going to play devil's advocate real quick because I feel like
Talk to me.
as much as I do love a moan. Like I love to moan and cry and complain. You know, we're babies. I'm Talon. Like you know how it is, Chobra. Like we're always moaning about something.
Divas.
Yeah, we're divas. As much as I love to do that, I do feel like in a way, although in some regions more than others, everybody is somewhat in the same boat. Obviously, like having an extra 6-day break over another team, not the most ideal. But everyone is in the same boat. We have seen this movie before.
Okay, but I disagree. And I don't want to interrupt, but
I just mean like there is a way. You could also like feed into the cheese. You could cheese your way out of this, and teams have done that historically.
Right, but that's my point. But that's my point, though. It's contrary. So here's the example, and I'm not going to get fired.
From where?
Oh,
from Talon?
Yeah, from where? That's the big question.
Yeah, from where?
Not Talon, actually.
There we go then. So.
But let's just say Big Brother. Okay.
Oh my goodness.
Okay. Give me 1 second to articulate my thoughts before I get myself fired.
Go on, Will. I felt like you wanted to say something.
But sorry, Will. Oh. But he mentioned DRX. It is not fair for a team in utter turmoil that just had to replace a player within 2 weeks. It's not fair to say that those guys are on the same footing as like Talon, who didn't make a roster change and have their shit together because they're a properly run program, or let's say FNATIC. Obviously we know, but what I'm saying is not that to say that everyone's dealing with the same thing is incorrect because there are teams with less talent
I feel you.
investing less money, and yet all of a sudden now, Tejo the Pendejo is the great equalizer. And now you can have, let's say, I'm not going to be disrespectful and name names, but I'm just going to say, I don't care about the DRX thing. I mean, like other names. I'm just going to say that now others can go, wow, we had a really shitty offseason. We kind of don't have any idea what the fuck we're doing. We're losing everybody in scrims. We have no idea what's going on. But you know what we're going to do? We're going to play Tejo the Pendejo. And we're going to try to cheese our way in there. And I think it's okay to say that, it's exciting and fun. But I feel like there's a problem. There's a dichotomy that exists from Riot that we're supposed to be professional. We're supposed to, or they can do as I say, not as I do, but not us. And, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. But yet all of a sudden, every single time they can, they just go, what we're going to do? Your hard work, our hard work that we like to do, like, patches and this and that and balance and all the stuff that we don't like you criticizing at all because that's just not how this shit's supposed to go.
I feel you.
You can do that in reverse.
Yeah. I just want to, I just wanted to say a couple things. First of all, just to be fair to DRX, I got to stand up for my Korean boys.
For sure.
Supposedly, Bane has been working with the team since November. So it's like a little bit longer than 2 weeks, but it's still like halfway through the offseason. So that.
And he was on the team all last year, and he probably remembers all that stuff that they're going to recycle and use again because that's what they have done.
But Cloud9, oh my goodness.
Yeah,
that's a better example.
Team Secret, right? Just added their new coach. Like, there's a lot of teams that have still not really given us any proof. And then there's teams like you mentioned, like that weren't grinding away in the offseason either, right? So there's clearly a gap of like, well, we've been practicing comps like during the offseason to prep for VCT.
On vacation, chilling in Bali, just like this, yeah.
And then now it's
you have so much beef, Hector.
It's not beef.
You're just beefing.
It's not beef. This is just facts. These are just facts. It's not beef. It is the simple fact that I think that I keep hearing about competitive integrity, and yet people piss. I'm not gonna say who. You guys be the like fortune tellers, but. Then some people piss on competitive integrity every single chance they get. That shit to me is facts, bro. Because I just pointed out last year. What the fuck happened last year? What the fuck happened this year? What the fuck happened the year before that? We could go example after example after example, and I'm just sitting there like, man, this is weird.
I think what it really comes down to is, let's not even talk about the Riot side of things, right? Because obviously they'll have their own reasons for making certain decisions, etc. But from the fan base, not truly understanding like how far competitive integrity and work extends, like preparation, right? It's like, oh, well, you just like, yeah, it's a little hard, but you replace this agent, like they do something similar to like Silva and whatnot, or like the drone or KO. And it's like, oh, they think like, yeah, you got to do reps, but it can't be that bad. But it's like, you said,
like
it's
Scrim Leagues not being in the rule book because like we know teams have done it this entire time. We're not gonna do anything to thwart it, bro. We're just gonna sit there and just fucking say, yeah, even if we got proof in a smoking gun. Anyways, my bad. Sorry, Chobra. My fault, bro.
It's really fun that I've this is not the first time I've been on the receiving end of that as well. That's what I love.
I'm just saying. Hector the bad guy, but I don't know. These are just facts, bro. These are just facts. But yeah, everyone here knows I know, and they know I'm right, and they'll say, "Oh man," like publicly, I'll get criticized for it, but then probably like, "Yeah, we know that happens, bro." Sorry.
Right. Yeah, I think it's just. Listen, whether you live with it or not, at least it would be nice for the fan base to at least understand and appreciate when it happens properly, right? At the very least, like when it happens properly, like really appreciating, like, okay, this is like really well set up. This is what good Valorant is, and things like that. And in my mind, actually, now thinking about it, this kind of change, I'd be down for it for a tournament like lock-in. It's kind of a one-off.
I agree. No stakes
there. Yeah,
we're just chilling. We're trying to celebrate the game.
Like that, yeah, that'd be
I'm down
sick.
for that.
Sick.
Masters Thailand, which ties into champs and points, but. They hold up in their whole.
This is the
bring
thing,
back
right?
Rocket, send champions to December. We're good.
Do you think this kind of ties into the best Valorant sort of point? Do you think it is better for the game that we have a dynasty like an Astralis-esque where one team is winning everything, or it's better to have different teams always at different masters, even qualification, like different teams that qualify, and then maybe out of those, some of them make champs, and different teams winning every tournament. Because it feels like this kind of format and the way everything is patched is facilitating and rewarding a scenario of having different teams going to different events.
I'm curious what you think, Hector, because I have a pretty specific answer about this.
Okay, so NFL and so let's the Chiefs have a chance to win 3 in a row. But
Let's
for the
go.
most
Travis,
part,
my dad. Sorry, carry on.
That's rarely ever been done. There's a lot of parity in the NFL, right? Not the same in baseball, not the same in other sports. All sports leagues very big, right? So the truth is, I don't really know right on that end. But you know what I will say that nobody has talked about? Look what's happening in the NBA with JJ Redick and Charles Barkley. JJ Redick is saying that one of the reasons why NBA viewership is down is because you have people like Shaq and Charles Barkley constantly criticizing the NBA officials. Like, I'm sorry, by the NBA, I mean like the game of basketball. It's boring. It's this and that. My era was better. All that stuff. Publicly on television to the masses, correct?
Right.
Okay. Then they're also saying this player sucks. This guy's trash. They have like nicknames for players like Anthony Davis is like street clothes. That's kind of disrespectful. Like he shouldn't be on the court because he's always in street clothes. Like all that stuff, right? And he correlated that with viewership being down. So what does Charles Barkley do in his all-knowing wisdom? He then, during a highlight of the Memphis Grizzlies and another team, doesn't talk a single time about that game. Instead, is criticizing the Lakers and JJ Redick, which pretty much proves this point. Now, how does this tie into this? I think not giving people the chance to do that is actually the problem, because they spit in the face of competitive integrity and what the best Valorant could be. Because maybe if we didn't have all these inconsistencies, some of the ones I mentioned, Tejo the pendejo, or sorry, I promise you guys I'll stop saying that. I am actually going to stop saying that.
It's
You can say, I don't care.
But you get my point, though. You get my point is maybe we could have that or have the most parity. Like I thought Champs
But what do you
season had
want?
the most parity.
What do you think will be the best in terms of, would you
You know
like
what
to
I
see
want more
the
than
same
anything in
team to
Valorant
win?
and just in life?
Yeah.
I just want consistency. Tell me what the rules of engagement are, and let me deal with that. Don't lie to me. Don't bullshit. And by the way, this is more a philosophical answer. This is just life. I just want consistency. Just tell me what to do. Is cheating illegal, Riot? Is scrim viewing illegal? Or is it legal? Right? Tell me. Are we going to get balance and is Split going to be out of the pool for literally a month and then come back? Whose advantage is that supposed to be for? Because you guys have never done that before, right? Like I just want consistency. I don't care what they do. I am not the steward of the game. People give a fuck about me anyway. But what I feel is weird is you have another industry like that one having a really big introspective look on the things they're doing to their own product. And we, because we're younger, right? Because Valorant skews younger and are more mature, we don't even think to question that we, as in the Valorant.
I was going to say, the people in this call, we're not younger. Like, let's be fair.
Okay, fair. But I mean, the general audience, Valorant audience, we meme it and think this shit is funny and we don't put coal to the fire, because you know what will affect Riot in specific, and you know what will get answers? Affecting their pockets. Right? And how do I can give you some ideas on how to affect their pockets, but I'm sure all of you guys are smart enough, and I'm not about to get fired. I'm just saying that if we really care about Valorant, I'm not sure why people like me are the only one, because by the way, that Jakeson tweet, I had a response, and I know Derke and other people have said stuff that have more of a name, more of a whatever in Valorant. So I'm not obviously talking about just them. I mean,
yeah, the masses.
Yeah, I'm just being, I'm generalizing. So I'm sure there are other people that have criticized. I'm just saying that if you care about Valorant, that's the way you can help, because there's no way we look at this and go, man, it's a little bit more fun to see Tejo, the Tejo play the game, or man, I'm excited to see him, bro. It would be nice if they go, hey, you know what? Maybe Tejo should be played in season 1, because I think it's too soon, and these teams have worked all off season for this thing, that's happening in 2 weeks. Can you give us a chance to like actually see what they cooked? Especially for another character that exists named Vice, who now is kind of fucked.
Yeah.
And that is the end of my speech, Chobra. Sorry.
That's all good. It was shorter than usual. So, but I was just going to chime in on the consistency part, right? So, like, if you're going to have game-changing patches 2 weeks before every season, but as long as it's every season, I would wager that eventually you'll still get a dynasty. You know what I mean? Because it's a system, right? So, like, I don't think it's a matter of do we want a dynasty or not. I think as long as it's consistent, whether it's volatile inconsistent or not at all inconsistent, eventually it's a system. So someone's going to figure it out and they'll crack the code. And
Sorry, carry on. I thought he was going to jump. I was going to be like, it's not that bad, dude. It's just one patch. Like, you still have so much to live for.
I'm already having dreams of Tejo P in my nightmares.
Okay, sorry, Chobra. Finish your point.
I think I made my point. I think,
yeah.
But yeah, basically, as long as the system is the same, then someone will figure it out. It'll become a dynasty, and then someone will rival it. And then as long as you make sure no one has like just some insane monopoly with some insane money that doesn't exist, then it'll even out eventually over time, right? So I think it's almost a null point to be like, well, is it better to have dynasties or not? Because in theory, there should always be one at some point. But if you keep changing how the system applies, then there definitely can't be, because who does it benefit, like Hector said, right?
I think it to an extent benefits viewers. Like, I mean, if you think about it, I think I like the
storylines for sure.
I think I like the point that you raised about how viewership. There's like a direct cause and effect between, like, if you have good viewership, you can get away with this, and if you have a bad viewership, you are forced to do X, Y, and Z. And I think in some ways, because I mean, even looking at the team skins, right? I know people were a little bit like pissy about the player cards and so on and so forth, but in the end of the day, the teams that are popular with big streamers and the teams that go to champs and all these tournaments will sell more skins. That is just how life works. And I think the more maybe they give a chance for more teams to make certain tournaments. And I do think that the inherent problem is there's not enough slots, because imagine if every big international tournament was a 16-team tournament. It would be so sick, because it kind of gets rid of the problems of like, okay, so what, you have Tejo, each region has 4 teams that go, like there's more chances. So what that you're not saying enough skins?
Isn't it weird that it's 2 teams in the first major and then 3 teams in the second and 4 teams in the third?
Okay, that's my biggest gripe. Like my version of Hector's scrim sharing like whole debacle is the fact that there is not 16-team tournaments every single tournament, because that will solve everything in my opinion. But we don't live in that reality. Therefore, maybe I'm just guessing here, maybe they want to have a system where you don't just get the same 2 teams that go every single time, and you mix it up. You can have newer fan base. You can have storylines like Zeta doing well for one tournament randomly, and then Crew doing well for one tournament, and so on and so forth.
You know what the best thing about that is? And now I'm going but I'm going to try not to get fired. Is what they're going to say is it's cost, bro, and you don't understand the economics. And I forget what episode, Steve, but there's an episode where I literally go over the economics from someone that I know who kind of helped run it and has an MBA and explained it to me. So I did the due diligence here, and I'm not going to get into that spiel. Somebody else can probably pull a clip from another episode, right? So they'll come and say, oh, it's an economics thing. It's a money thing. Man, that's weird, but I'm pretty sure you have partners putting a lot of money on some teams, paying some players a big money and also promoting your skins and bundles. And guess what? They might be screwed by some guy that just came off the street that just happens to be able to play Trejo the P and doesn't have to worry about macro. Life is fucking hard, yo.
Yeah, but at the same time, that might not happen. That is like, it's not set in stone.
It might not happen, but I can tell you this: some teams are going to be like, chirp.
And also, I'm gonna rebuke. No, that's not the one. I'm gonna. I'm gonna.
rebuke you. This is like
have a
religious all
rebuttal.
of a sudden.
I'm gonna raise your NBA analogy with a soccer analogy because traditionally, like,
What's wrong with you?
Premier League traditionally is like the most exciting league in the world, and it doesn't matter. Like, even I think La Liga in Spain, it can get a bit stale when Barca and Madrid were winning everything. Don't even get me started with Bundesliga. Like, who the fuck is watching Bundesliga every week?
Yeah, they
like,
trash.
I don't know who. But the reason that the Premier League has been so successful and is so exciting is because Leicester can win. Like, you can have a season where Leicester wins the Premier League.
Wait, is it Leicester? I always thought it was Leicester. But I'm a dumb American, so I actually don't know.
This is where the American comes out from.
Hector. I know exactly what she's talking about. She's talking about a team that came from two.
But this is the thing. But in Valorant, it is the same. Like, ain't nobody, even when FNATIC were winning back-to-back tournaments, people were becoming haters of them because they're like, we don't want to see them win again. Yeah. This is so boring. You don't want to see the same two teams that go to every tournament, go to every final. It's going to, over time, get pretty shitty. And I think that is also why certain leagues, even in esports, do better than the others.
But hasn't Counter-Strike kind of that to be a little false?
Right.
Or
and I would say that
Rocket
there's...
League at a period.
Yeah, you're telling me people didn't want ENCE to win in Katowice over Astralis?
They would have wanted.
But that's kind of the point.
Because you can have an ENCE. You can't. It doesn't always have to be Astralis.
Is that you need to have a strongest team for that narrative
it's a storyline.
True.
Basically,
I agree.
Hero, villain, Batman, all that bullshit.
Because otherwise, it's just like, well, if the storyline every time is anybody can win, then it's like, well, is this grand final actually?
I say this respectfully. You know damn well if Boaster won 3 events in a row, he would go from everyone's favorite to he would be like, man, fuck that guy. That's just how 100%. That shit is.
Sure.
But the good thing is he could be, well, he also has a personality, so it works. But he would be the heel now. Right, FNATIC would be the heel. It'll be like WWE, which is basically what all this is anyway. It's basically just that level. It's like theater or theatric entertainment. That's really what all this is anyway. It's just that we're doing it with a mouse and keyboard, and we're also showing like a game people like.
Trying to actually summarize the full narrative in the big picture. Most people are only just reacting to what they're feeling literally right this moment. Like
that match,
we have on the show talking about the things. We keep trying to solve a problem that nobody else is because people aren't aware it's even a problem. They're just react to what makes them feel good right now. We're all gamers. It's all dopamine driven. Yeah. I don't mean to get all philosophical and macro, but it's like really.
No, it's true.
We're trying to put our feet on the ground where there is no ground. Like it's just.
I will just say that Riot isn't a stranger to this, though, right? To having like a dynasty, etc., because that's literally what revived League 10 years later, and not having Faker win
the fourth thing still exists. This guy is fucking and like 10 years later still like I'm the GOAT.
And in the beginning, like when SKT won 3 in a row, that's what happened. Everyone was like, well, we're kind of sick of T1, SKT winning, like we're sick of the Koreans winning all the time. And then they started not winning, and it was kind of interesting. And then he wins a 4th, and it's like, wow, this is sick. Right now suddenly everyone's interested in League of Legends again. Korea, suddenly everybody's playing League again. There's a long payoff here, but you just need to build it up over time, because otherwise I would wager actually if it keeps going, well, any team can win, like, past year 5, year 6, that actually starts to get boring, right? Because it's like, well, it's like anybody can win. Well, unless they bring out another agent like Tejo every year.
Your point is still valid. It's like parity. That's why I brought up the NFL or Major League Baseball. Like, the thing is, I think both work. And I think what we all agree on is that you want periods of this, right? Like you want the teams that are so good, they're changing the game and they're the guys, and then you want the young, like the Donks, to come out, or the Premies, or the Tens, or the all these guys to come out of nowhere and just do their thing, right? And I like small example for Valorant. I mean, and unfortunately, I hate to keep bringing up Jake on this. My bad, Jake. Tens, right? On Cloud9. Didn't win anything, wasn't very good. Had a chance to come to 100 Thieves. Obviously, Nate Shot's beef with Jack thwarted that. Goes to Sentinels. Sentinels plays you guys in the finals. By you guys, I mean Jake, not Yinsu. Right? Like, they played them in the finals, and then Tens wins. Look at Tens' career. Look at what it did to his career. Good face of the game, blah, 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 blah. Like, he just retired and all that stuff. But, like, think about that, right? Like, that's a narrative and a storyline. Riot benefited from things like this happening. So that's a good thing that, like, this can happen, right? Like, the hero arc can happen. like I said, if certain things broke a different way, you might be living in a world where, EMEA might have the juggernaut and everyone else is trying to catch up to them. Unfortunate that life happens the way that it happens. And, but like we could have lived in those. I think Valorant would have been successful if that happened too. Like, I think we would be like, right? Like the trajectory could be higher, maybe lower. I have no idea, but I think both can work. But that's the like heart of the issue is that like, at least from my perspective, I don't care like what happens, whether we have dynasties or no dynasties. I just think there's no way that the steward of the game is this inconsistent with the product that they're trying to grow year after year after year after year. If I was critical about Cloud9 and all these organizations that are not run very well, I think I also have to be consistent and say, there's no fucking way they do this shit to us. Bro, what is the point of the whole offseason and working hard if you're just going to fucking just do this? if we're playing it like, if that's the case, let us know, hey guys, don't practice. Come in early January. You're going to have a whole new season and a whole new bag of tricks, and everybody has the same amount of time. And I say this as affectionately as I can, Yinsu, because you're complaining about the EMEA schedule, but what you're really complaining about is this exact topic we're talking about. Now, I'm going to do the complaining for you because don't get fired.
Yeah.
But
great advice.
This is my issue in my heart of hearts is fuck.
Is that it?
Well, there you go.
That's it.
That's a good summary. Yeah, that's a good 1 point summary, I would say.
Summary of Hector's feelings on all topics at hand, yes.
Yeah.
There you go. Obviously, we've talked about kind of the big picture, et cetera, but you brought up the bracket. We looked at the schedule. It's not great. But how are we feeling about the bracket itself? Speaking of consistency, because to me, I'll just go ahead and I'll put my thoughts out there. I mean, I probably feel the weakest about EMEA just in terms of my own conviction, right? Like, do I feel confident, et cetera? But also just at first glance, it seems pretty straightforward.
I think in terms of strength, I think Americas, in my opinion, will be the hardest region. I think the most competitive region. Yeah, that's my take. In terms of our bracket, obviously, I guess every year they have to, again, weigh up. We have to take into consideration how teams did last year, but then forget that all of them made a roster change except for maybe one team. So in a way, in a perfect world, you just start again, right? You don't care about how they did last year. You just roll the dice. You just do a draw of some sort and just randomize it. But even that wouldn't solve issues because I feel like if they did that, then people would be like, well, Heretics didn't make a roster change. They deserve to have a bye, etc., etc. I don't know what the perfect answer is, sadly. But in terms of the actual games themselves, I mean, I think there is a version of like on paper, certain teams should be pretty good. And then there is a version of like, obviously, scrimbucks. Who knows how good teams are until the first game they play. I hate these like tier lists. I am such a hater of tier lists of teams before the season starts because you're not on that team. You don't know if they're good or bad. You don't like, because I know some teams that look really good and then I hear behind the scenes are like, these two motherfuckers hate each other. Or I hear stuff about like, oh yeah, in scrims, this team is losing everything. And then I hear the vibes are like, they're actually enjoying the game. They're actually really liking each other. And, you know, it might actually be good when they play on stage. So I'm a big tier list hater. Like, you'll never catch me trying to do that.
I just want you to know, we were listening to everything you said. No. We just have history. I can recite it back if you don't trust me, right? I understand why you don't like these tier lists. Mm-hmm. The laughing between him and I is very simple. Chobra, can you tell her? Please.
Well, so, you know, I do the YouTube thing, and tier lists are easy. Tier lists are easy, kind of fun. They're fun to chat about.
Was I calling you out?
Oh, yeah.
No.
I mean, sure, you were soft just pegging him, but continue. Keep going. Keep going. No, don't be sorry.
I'll defend myself after.
Don't be sorry.
At the beginning of this year, I'm looking at rosters, and I'm thinking, like, Talon, not really sure where we're going, right? Vanguard, not really sure where this is going. I'm not really looking at them very high. I think it was actually going to stage 1 after kickoff as well.
Yeah.
I ranked you guys, what, 9th?
Right.
Oh, okay.
But
Okay.
hey, okay. Just so we're clear, I turned around. I turned around after watching the actual games. All right,
Sure.
I turned the ship around, and also, I mean, obviously, I'm
But then
very
what
well aware.
happened every time we played Secret? I'm so confused. Even RQ. What?
Okay, hold
anyways,
on.
never mind.
You do have beef with Secret, though. I know you say it's not about beef.
No, I don't actually. They did.
You don't have beef with them? I felt like you
Brother,
had beef with them.
or sorry, sister. We were. I mean, you can't call somebody a monkey on stream, and then you can't have other people say Talo Esports and all this other stuff, and like think that's okay.
Okay, I didn't
Right?
even know that was the context. I just
Oh yeah, there was a lot of stuff
teams
that
had
happened.
beef.
and
Okay,
it was just kind of crazy. Well, the
I
thing
was
is,
not
it's
aware.
not beef. I think. Okay, if I could be serious about this, since we're bringing it up, I don't think it seems like either it spooked them enough to go, "Oh shit, we didn't mean it that way," or they genuinely thought that shit was funny. It's just weird that I think that behavior could even be considered that way. And remember, I'm a North American, so maybe this is how people in Asia interact. But I feel like when we found out, everybody was like, "Wait, what?" And then then I obviously said it and then made a big deal about it because, I was GM there at one point, and I basically I know Cyborg Matt and I know John and I know like people there. And I thought maybe I had a different relationship with those players, and I thought we were cool. Then I realized we weren't cool, and they've basically been talking shit about me the entire time. And I just happened to find out to my face without knowing because I don't speak the language. And God bless, I had somebody that was a Filipino that was next to me that can tell me this. And this is sort of like how that happens. And you know how that works. Like you think you're cool with somebody, then you're not. Then all of a sudden you find out that way. So then, you kind of go, oh, this is what it is. And then, so that's kind of what happened. It's not beef like who gives a fuck? It's just that it's just interesting that happened. And then we kind of created the storyline and narrative. And then for Chobra and me, it's just funny because every fucking time this guy was like, he was about to whip that ass. And I'm just like, what now, bitch? Like, so.
Okay, so who do you have beef with then? Give me your top three. Your Kendrick Lamar Drake. Give me your top three. Hit me.
We'll make the Hector beef tier list.
Hold on.
Yeah, here we go. Yeah, the
number
best
one on the
tier
list. Number one on the list.
Yeah.
That's all I'm gonna say. The people that know.
Okay.
The people that know. That is number
Okay.
one on the list.
Okay.
For number 2 and 3, you're gonna have to wait for episodes 100 and like 150.
Okay.
But
I'll get that.
but
okay.
Episode 1 of the, Hector's about to settle is this. If you can figure that one out, then props to you.
Okay, Chobra, go on, your turn.
My top three beef?
Yeah. Who are we dropping a
He's
diss
not
track
about to
on?
do that, bro.
Yeah.
He's not about to do that.
I've
where he's
never
from?
thought about it.
Nah, bro, they don't do that.
never
bro.
thought about
They don't
it.
talk like that.
Yeah, to be fair, I mean, my mama brought me up differently. I just don't have beef with
They'll do it like
On the forums.
without telling you.
Yeah, I'll
and,
write it in
off
my
camera,
diary,
but
and I'll
they're not
curse you
gonna do that
to no eternity.
Yeah.
But like,
I think 200th episode we'll get Chobra to reveal.
there you go.
Respect.
There you go.
Respect.
Yeah.
Yeah, give me a couple beers, and then we'll see what happens.
Yeah. I'm sad Dre's not here because Dre would definitely say, I feel like.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, Dre would be calling
Because
someone out.
Dre has these things, these things, he has these,
I'm so not picking up what you're putting down. Really not.
these are supposed to be balls.
yeah.
How
I
else you
got
want
it.
to put? He had these things,
That's
like
supposed to be balls. That's like udders. You're milking a cow out there.
Okay, so maybe
Well, maybe
maybe my physical comedy isn't the strength of my
What
overall,
kind of testicles
skill
have you
set.
seen?
I mean, my own at least.
yeah, apparently not too many, which might
My
be a
own,
good thing.
but yeah.
All right. Speaking of testicles, so no, I'm kidding.
Okay, so I am looking forward to
Yeah.
actually the Team Liquid match for 2 reasons.
Oh,
One,
okay.
I mentioned Gambit earlier, big fan, played against them, beat them, by the way. So, Nats, even though I'm about to give you props, I'm still 1-0. He's IGL now, and I've been a huge fan of that old roster. Us at 100 Thieves and them became good friends over time, and I continued to stay friends with Redgar, who, was on the show, Nats and all the boys. Obviously, huge respect to ENGH. But the legacy of everything he learned, that team was, and everything he learned through that, being Nats, we'll finally get to see. I think on a personal level, I don't know if you guys will agree or disagree, but I think that one of the probably hardest things about the last 2 years is he was one of the best players in the world at his position. And I think most of the world doesn't even know that anymore because Valorant got so big so fast and he wasn't on a relevant team. And I think I'm hoping that Liquid can turn it around and this is his coming out party from that perspective. However, first time IGL, potentially at the Sentinel spot or maybe another role change, you know, the roster.
I think he's just life on hard mode, in my opinion.
Right.
I agree with you. I feel like he was still probably the best, if not one of the best in his role in our region, at least. Even on his team,
I think
he was always good.
For sure.
He was always good.
Yeah.
But I'm not super convinced about having him IGL. I'm obviously biased.
Yeah.
I'm very biased because I live with an IGL. But because like people don't understand, I feel like, what being in an IGL is sometimes. And I think his style of playing is going to hurt his stats and it's going to hurt his kind of being a what's the word? Like being a star player. Like he is always the star player on every team he's been. He's the star. I think that's going to be dialed back massively. Whether he can deal with that or not is a whole other thing. I don't really think he's going to be a bad IGL necessarily, but I don't think he's going to be the best in his role if he IGLs, and I also don't think he's going to be the best IGL if he keeps his role. I just feel like he's stuck in this situation of like, both things are going to hurt him no matter what. Like, how is he going to lurk and play timing, all this stuff as an IGL? Or maybe
I think it's the
doing
hardest
that.
thing to do. Yeah.
Maybe
I think
he doesn't
playing
do that anymore.
Sentinel or right, that's what I'm saying. But even if he role changes, now he has to break its comfort zone and stuff. So like
slap it on Tejo and then it's solved.
Yeah, but the thing is, he's so smart. Right. He's so smart and he has such good aim.
Yeah, no,
it just feels like he should be fine. But at the same time, why is he like? He's just playing this on hard mode. He's just like stuck in the hardest possible situation for him. And obviously,
I will
Kiko,
say self-inflicted.
Yeah,
self-inflicted because I will say this, and I don't. And if he sees this and he gets mad, sorry, bro. But we'll talk.
He's not that kind of guy. He's not that kind of guy.
But what I will say is, I keep telling players. So I actually wish Andre was here for that because this is a conversation we talk about a lot. Which is sometimes you have to know when the situation you're in is a good one for you and when it's special. Sometimes you can't chase the bag, or sometimes you can't chase the hotter chick, or sometimes you can't like you.
Yeah, Dre will know about that.
No, that's funny, but. Just in general, like being able to recognize when you're in a good position and value that, and being able to sort of like, you know, understand that circumstances matter and situations matter is very difficult for both young people, and obviously it's difficult for anyone when economics come into play, right? And I will say that there's the decisions around his career have not panned out. And though obviously he did the best that he could with the situation, obviously, the whole Russia problem happened simultaneously with, you know, the height of Valorant, and then, you know, Visa became an issue and all that stuff. So it's not like he had that many options. Team Liquid is an excellent brand also, but coaches, players, team situation, regions, all that stuff. It seems like the decisions that were made, unfortunately, you know, putting, you know, 4 aimers on one team is probably not the best idea, guys.
He was also studying, by the way. He was also at university throughout.
Oh, that's even crazy. Bro, this guy's, trust me, he's impressive. But I'm saying, like, it's unfortunate.
He was doing a law degree throughout this.
Yeah, it just didn't work out the way that probably he would have intended. And
I think if this wasn't Nats, I would have, like, 100% doubt. I will be like, oh, what is happening? But because it is Nats, like my doubts are dialed back because it's Nats. Like if it's anybody that can make this work, it's gonna be him. But looking at the other players on his team though, I think I'm very familiar obviously with Kamek. Like he was on FNATIC. I like him. I think he's a good player. I think he would have ended up on a tier 1 team regardless. I'm happy for him. Paddy, obviously, like I feel like he proved himself a lot on Heretics, and I think everyone's really excited about him as well. And Kiko is the question mark for me because he's had to role swap because Camo is going to come in and be the duelist from what I heard. I don't know if this is true, but I think we've seen enough evidence of that. I think
there's a strong possibility that Kiko ends up, so let's say I have to put my tinfoil hat, and I actually don't know the answer to this, even though I've spoken to Nats pretty recently. I will say that there's a chance, if you think about it, duelists have transitioned well to Sentinel, right? He is, in my opinion, one of the best Sentinels to ever play the game. And then him transitioning to another role that fits IGLing might be somewhere that they go.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well. That's what I was hoping for, I should say, right? That they eventually land on, because that seems to be the most reasonable course.
Right.
From what I heard, Camo is pretty exceptional in scrims. I've heard he's shooting. He's like doing well. He's doing good.
Scrimmers?
So,
Wait, do I have anything with a Talon logo here? No, those
oh my goodness.
Oh, my bad.
So I feel like they can make something work here. They can make something work. I wouldn't,
by the way,
put it past them. But my only doubt,
the champions of scrims.
for goodness.
Oh yeah, here we go.
For goodness sake.
The champions of scrims, guys. Number one.
Let me cop one of those.
Got you.
I think my only sort of issue is that if they get past Koi, who also, I mean, you got another Gambit boy on there. I don't know what you're gonna do, Hector. You're gonna support Koi. You're gonna support Shados or Nats. Like this is what happens to me every week.
It's not
every
just
week
Shados
I have
too.
to choose. I have
Hold
to
on.
choose.
It's not just this. It's Flyer who
Flyer.
Oh, there we go. Of course,
and by the way, since we're on the topic, Flyer's ability to IGL impressed me when he was 17. His ability to retain information and his understanding of what's going on. And then obviously he evolved and did a bunch of stuff. Also, by the way, funny story, Flyer was the first IGL of the zombie comp for me. Flyer ran it first. So, right?
There we go.
But,
okay, so you're supporting Koi.
Well, no. I'm supporting, honestly, Nats first, right?
Oh, okay.
Because no disrespect to anyone else on Liquid, but I don't give a fuck about Liquid. I really don't. I give a fuck about Nats. What I will say, though, is this. That if you're asking me who has the advantage, I will say, no disrespect to Nats, but Fly's ability to IGL and his ability to, I think, outpace and outmaneuver him, for sure, especially in kickoff, I think that's the most dangerous thing because I think it's not even about mechanics. I'm scared that Nats not only has a North American IGL, because I don't know if I've ever talked to you about this, but basically every region has something they're really good at. And without getting into like the hyper game theory of like Valorant, I'll just say that like fast teams, slow teams, balanced teams, there's like this weird like rock, paper, scissors things with this. And I would say that coming from North America, Fly is very balanced. And Gambit and particularly Nats has always been very slow. That's a matchup problem right there. So it's like when I think about like the experience gap there and all these other things, then it becomes like, okay, can they manage? Yeah, okay. I'm going to be honest. I actually think Koi has an advantage in the series due to those things. Even though I want Nats to be successful.
I'm actually kind of leaning towards you as well. That's what I'm trying to say. If Liquid can somehow get past Koi, they got to play Foot.
They got
Foot? Yeah, then they got Foot.
I think Foot are going to run away with this tournament. I think Foot were very unlucky last year globally. They dropped a little bit. But they are so good. I don't see them losing to either Liquid or Koi. I just don't see that happening. I think there'd be a huge upset if it happened. And they signed.
I agree with you.
They signed Zeus. I think Zeus is so smart. If you guys don't know about Zeus, he is basically he kind of encapsulates everything about Turkey. He is that young Turkish insane player. I think He was probably the most sought out player in the offseason, full stop. Maybe, I mean, Derke obviously is Derke, but I know every fucking team won a Zeus. Every single team won a Zeus. And I think he's so smart to go to FUT. Like, he, in my opinion, made the best choice for his career. Go to where you're comfortable. Like, he does not need to go and learn English yet. He doesn't need to, like, take any risks. Just go to FUT where you're going to develop, you're going to be amazing, you're going to be the next, like, CNET Alpha, whatever, variant. Yep. He's that guy. And I think he's going to be amazing. And I think I'm such a big fan of Mr. Farlin as well when it comes to IGLs. And I just think this team is going to be just as good as they were last year. And Liquid and Koi are kind of unlucky. They gotta beat each other and then play FUT.
Yeah, no, I'd agree. I was going to say, if we got around to it, that FUT was the team that I was looking forward to a lot. Just because I also think like there's always that one team in every region that like always does well, but people always either forget or disrespect what they're actually good at. And like FUT is that team in EMEA. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, they have ups and downs and they have some wacky comps and weird matches, but they're good. Like they're
good. 2 years ago, they were the best team in the world. Yeah, almost the whole year.
Okay, I wouldn't go
and
that
then it just didn't work out. Yeah, no, for sure.
Because they are like so underrated. Like people just don't give them the
So remember when Lotus came out? I know FNATIC and
they were really good.
Having
they were very good.
But it wasn't just that. I mean, around that period, I thought tactically they were the best team I saw on tape that whole year. It just never kind of worked for them. And I know even on Lotus, FNATIC ended up with the eventual like standard comp and stuff, but like I was blown away by what I saw from FUT back then. Last year, I also had high expectations of them. They didn't really deliver.
Well,
I think they're amazing.
In EMEA, they did. They just kind of fumbled
regionally
when they went global. They fumbled.
But I think when you are, this is how my brain works. If I have expectations of, like, if I think you're one of the best teams in the world, I think you have to like be the best one of the best teams in the world, and that includes like champs.
Yeah.
You know,
it's like Koreans in DRX, right? If you expect them to be the best, like 5th and 6th at champs every year isn't going to cut it anymore.
Sure. But yeah, it's like, I think that team on a personal level, I've had so many expectations of what this team can be. Mm-hmm. So I like you think that like, you know, eventually we have to see it or you're going to have to blow it all up, right?
I can't wait for you to see Zeus in action. Like,
you know, it's funny. I've heard of him before, like, obviously the show, but I've heard of him before he even signed with this team. And it was because I had Premi and everyone's, you know, the hot thing is like, you know, find the next Premi and stuff, right?
Yeah.
So I will say this. When you're bored, pull up a Snowflake video, Premi, put up a Zeus video, just look at the highlight video. There's so many similarities in some of the like very introspective stuff. If you think about like, you know, not just like, oh, their aim. No. Just look at the movement. Look at sort of like micro flicks. Like just look at the, or like just show it to Jake and see what he tells you. Like, it's actually so funny.
They just crack.
And there's one other player in North America that reminds me of that, and he's super young too, and he can't play in VCT, and I'm not going to say his name because I may go back to North America one day. But I will just say, some of these young guys, they got it, bro. So I agree with you about him, and it's only because I started because I can see Premi every day. So now when I see certain things from other people, I'm like, whoa, you know. So yes. I'm with you, girl. Yeah.
I think it would be interesting to maybe talk a little bit about either some of the newer players in EMEA or the imports, because we're in North America part two.
You're gonna love his personality, and I think you're gonna respect his game.
Yeah, I'm just gonna hop in there. Crashies, I love crashies.
Okay? So tell me how you really feel, Yinsu. Tell me you don't watch SpikeTalk at all, because me and Babybay had this whole thing about
did you?
How genius
were you gassing him
the FNATIC move was for picking up crashies. Because one of the problems that Boaster had, in my opinion, was that obviously he has to do a lot and sometimes do too much. But now he has a guy that could be on the opposite side that can command and can also give info and can make the call that can win you around. And I thought this is a fucking sneaky move. Not to say that Leo can't do it. This is not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, if there's one guy in NA on Sova or just any initiator that I would trust more macro-wise, if there was one guy that I would trust the most, it would have been crashies, and it's why I thought it was genius for him to be the one to replace him. Obviously, mechanically, probably not as good as Leo.
Oh, no
but
one's
very
as good as Leo. Yeah.
But very good in his own right. But it's the fact that he can plug in holes, which might elevate the game of some of his teammates, right? IGL in specific, because you can trust him in big moments because he's played in big games. Mm-hmm. And he's been here from the beginning, so he's seen it all. So there's no new smoke. I mean, obviously we're going to, someone might come up with something, but in general, he's going to have an idea. Like, you're not going to sucker him with like something new. He's going to have an idea quickly because he's had so many reps. You don't, which has been FNATIC's issue. If you look at like some of the replacements that they've had over the years, it's always like, I don't want to say developmental player because they're not all developmental, but you know what I mean, right? Like, you don't have that acumen coming into FNATIC to fill that spot. It's always been like, finding a guy that can help in this way, and you fucking got him. So me and Babybay were gushing about the move for probably 30 minutes on one of the last episodes.
Do you like him, Chobra? You agree?
I love it. I was actually so taken aback that there was even discourse needed. Like the community and people were like, "Oh yeah, Crash is pretty good," but like, is he really? And in my head, I'm with Frost. Like in my head, I'm just thinking back. Like you wouldn't even have to watch all of his previous games to think this, in my opinion. You would really just have to look at results and interviews, right? You think back to the old Optic days and how they used to talk about the team and like who does what and who holds what value. It's like Crashies has always consistently been said that he offers all of that, right? In the Optic days, in the NRG days. And it's like, I would agree with Frost that if anyone was ever watching, obviously, internally, sure, there's more layers to it. But that FNATIC, one of the things was that it was always you're either moving very slowly as one team or you're kind of breaking apart, right? And so it's like, okay, well, you have someone who can either take command, they have the game sense to make their own call, and they're confident to make calls because they're a veteran, right? So they're not like, oh, I don't know if I can step on these toes or not. I think that's great. I think he's a perfect fit. And I've had people come in and like they'll bring up other initiators, and it's like it doesn't mean that anyone else is worse or just not a good player, but it just means that Crashies' value outside of like gunplay is just so good for FNATIC. Like, I'm really excited. Now, could it flop? Sure. I mean, anything can flop. But on paper, like I'm very excited for this as well.
I'm not going to leak anything. But what I will say is, I will say that I think people underestimate his impact outside of the server. He is such a nice guy, and he fits like the vibes and picking up on like, socially, like being there for the boys and stuff, like instantly. Like the only player I've ever seen do that so flawlessly before is Alpha. Yeah, like everybody loves Alpha. I don't know anyone that doesn't like Alpha. He's just a sweet kid. That is, he's a wholesome, he is someone that you can tell was raised well, because when you make it in this game at the age of 16, being the best player from your region when you are 16, it could go two ways. Like you could become an absolute asshole. You could be clouded by all this, the money, the attention, all this stuff.
You don't say.
You could literally be an overnight ass, but Alpha is a wholesome, sweet kid. And
you're saying you had that at 16. That's tough, bro.
But that's what I mean. Like, can you
unlucky for me, bros.
Can you imagine? Like, I just feel like it could have gone so wrong. But I've seen Crashies come into this team because we were in Japan in the off season. We spent a lot of time like together as a team. He is just a chill, down to earth, like nice, normal human being. And I think that's just rubbed off on the boys, because there'll be days I remember in previous years where, let's say scrims don't go well and Jake comes home, Boaster comes home and he's stressed or he's tired or, just things aren't going well the way he wants it to go. And we'd always have chat about how like, hey, stay strong. You're the leader. You have to do this. You have to, you cannot afford to be stressed. You have to pretend like you're happy to your boys. But these days, even if they don't have the best day in scrims, I'm like, are you okay? He's like, Yeah, it is what it is. Like the vibes are good. Like everyone's happy to just turn up and play and have fun and be present. And I think that is such a valuable thing. It's been such a long time since I've seen that level of kind of easiness from a stressful situation, because they don't have Leo. They don't have the best player in the world. This is like, in theory, they should be stressing. They should be like, oh my God, how do we actually make this season work? But the vibes the crashies brings is just that level of easiness, not the end of the world. We don't have to kill each other, you know, to be on a team. And I think that's so underrated. I did not expect that from him.
That's
and I'm so happy he's here.
You just said that.
Yeah.
Huh. We'll circle back to that another time. I will just say that who he is and his personality technically isn't the reason why he's not on in game, and like who he is and his personality aren't the reasons that he's not on NRG. It's not that he couldn't cope, and it's not that he's not exactly what you said. Sometimes there are just situations that happen, or you make a mistake and it unfortunately puts you on the out, right?
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that doesn't mean you're not everything you just said, and you can still make a mistake that just lands you somewhere else.
Yeah.
My observations come from a month, you know, a month of him being on the team.
No, for sure. But there's this perception that like you get dropped and you're trashed, and it's like, okay, sure, right?
Yeah.
Like, but that's not how life is. Like,
and also I think people are so caught up by like, we have to win, and you start like not even seeing you get so clouded by like the goals and what you want so bad in life that you maybe you become the asshole, maybe you become the person that's unpleasant to be around, and so on. And I just think it's nice to experience an atmosphere where people are just relaxed.
Guilty as charged.
That's it. And I hope even if crashies doesn't put up the numbers, maybe it takes him a while to warm up into EMEA or warm up into the team. I hope people can at least forgive him and not jump down his throat and not start being, you know, toxic and not flame him and all this stuff, because what he brings to from what I've seen is far more than just like shooting.
Yeah, I also think, and I'm going to sound like a homer, but I think that's just also a North American thing. I think that, no, I really mean this, and I'm not even trying to be funny. It's because I think culturally, most of the people you meet like that have had access to like public programs with like, you know, organized sports and, you know, all these situations, like soft skills.
So where are you going with this?
No. Yeah, like
I thought you meant the fans ripping at people because they had one bad game.
No, I mean more like how pleasant and like all this stuff. It's like, so like Americans have this, I think, perception from people that aren't in America that we're like, you know, fat, McDonald's drinking, you know, rude, all this stuff, or like sometimes like me, right? But in general, though, I think a lot of the good things that you notice from him are that, like, you know, in our high school system and you know, even in our middle school programs, soft skills are like kind of important. Now, obviously, you can say, "What the fuck happened to you, Hector?" Yeah, sure. But for Crashy's sake, I think it's like it's not a surprise to me, because I think, in my opinion, now this isn't just a FNATIC thing. This is just like in general. I feel like you would also be surprised how many North American players can come over and be exactly what you just mentioned outside of the server, not inside of the server, outside of the server, as opposed to what I'm experiencing here in Pacific for sure, and what I'm experiencing or what I have experienced in CS in Europe, right? Because I think, you know, I can give you just a small example. I think people tend to be more shy here in Pacific when they're in new environments, whereas in America, that's not actually like, bro, that is not like... You know, like, you know, the first time I met Ethan, it wasn't like, you know, Ethan's like, you know, hey, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, the first time I met Ethan, we were like shooting the shit. And then, like, we went to the gym like 3 days later. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I haven't had many of those experiences here in Asia specifically, right? It's like people tend to start off shy. They come out of their shells. And you can say, and I'm sure, listen, there are people that exist like that in America too. I'm just saying, like, now that I've been here for what's going to be like 2 years soon, it's like I'm not surprised hearing what you're saying about Austin in particular, simply because Yeah. I've been around so many players in North America that I think like legitimately are like, smart. They're cool as hell. They can fit in almost any crowd, blah, 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 blah. And I've outside of, especially in CS with the Ukrainians and Russia, bro, actually that's a whole different.
Okay, let's not.
Yeah. So
I wonder if you think that kind of culture extends to someone like Saadhak, because obviously he's not American, but he has been in North America in that league for a hot minute. And from what I heard, I heard the KC boys really love him and stuff. And I think he's great. Yeah.
Here's what you don't know about. Listen, one of the things I used to tell everybody in my life, including my mom, I have one of the coolest teams ever at FURIA. When I tell you that those boys, forget the Valorant, the competitive, the personal, any of that bullshit. If you ask me honestly about them as a bunch outside of the server, obviously I had my fucking headaches inside of the server. That is well fucking documented at this point, right? Outside of the server, that team was fucking awesome. Actually fucking awesome. Including things like the stuff that you guys don't know, like drip. That team was the swaggiest team ever, bro. Ever, right? Okay. They were the most fun to be around. Interpersonally, they were probably the coolest with others. So for instance, you could bring a girl around with on some other teams and they just won't even say anything to them. They're gamers. The FURIA boys are shoot the shit and just act like what
honestly,
you said. Nice, normal human being.
I didn't expect you to just come on here and be like, yeah, they fuck.
No.
They get bitches.
No. I'm saying imagine if, for instance, Jake ended up on FNATIC. The way the guys would have treated you, it wasn't hey, right? They would have actually been how are you? Where are you from? What are you doing? They would have almost ingratiated you into their circle, right? And that was one thing coming out of a Brazilian team that I appreciated a lot. Now, obviously, I'm Latin American. I mean, they're not because they're South American, so it's a little bit different. But it's basically. So culturally, it fit there. But yeah, I think that team, believe it or not, was that for me. I can only imagine that Saadhak is cut from the same cloth, right? I can only imagine that people Pancada and all these other guys are probably too, the old Lao core, right? So that was just my personal experience from one team that I'm probably overlaying onto and projecting to Saadhak, but I'm pretty sure, and I've obviously heard things from other players, and I'm not surprised that he's ingratiated himself well and people like him and all that stuff at all. Does not surprise me one bit.
I feel like I'm living in a fever dream that he's playing on KC. It hasn't sunk in
it's
yet.
Crazy.
I've known about it for ages and ages and ages. I've still just been what the heck?
Him walking out in that stadium lives rent free in my head.
I think the interesting thing is ENGH has had, everybody has had a lot of, I think, respect for ENGH over the years. Mm-hmm. But ENGH has had, I'd argue, with very inexperienced IGLs for most of his career. And I think now he has probably I don't want to say the most, but he has
he's up there.
A tenured. Yeah, he's up there. He's for sure top 3 in terms of, experience and prowess and all that stuff. I'm very curious to see what that manifests into, right? I'm curious to see if it vibes well, because let's not get fired, but if I remember, I think Saadhak and his last coach or coaches, they didn't vibe very well, and it wasn't very good, right? I think, let's see what happened.
I think in a way, him and N are quite similar. What people don't know is N is really funny. He's a funny guy. Yeah. He does he's quirky in his own way, but he's a really funny guy. And he's also a family man. He's very, sweet with his, wife and everything. I think Saadhak, to a degree, is very similar. He is so funny. This guy is absolutely hilarious. People don't understand this about him. And I think they, in a way, kind of I
didn't know that.
Yeah, but they mesh well in that way. And
that's good. And you need that, Sometimes
I mean,
you
I
just
don't
need,
know.
like, something.
I just-
for sure.
I feel like
But we
knowing
can
the
imagine
two of them.
professional relate, and
Yeah.
we both would agree because I mean, I don't. Admittedly, I don't know Saadhak as well, but we both have some knowledge of ENGH. So we can both make, or at least I'm projecting on one, but you would probably know both. They're both adults. Like,
Yes.
even in the worst circumstance, they will figure it out and come together and be a good example for everyone else on that team. You don't expect it to end, as I previously mentioned, about, Saadhak,
Also,
where he just came from
yeah.
and all that stuff, right? So
They
I don't
both
expect that to happen.
They both love like developing players and kids.
Yeah.
And they get to develop Martin and Aves. Okay, people that don't know Aves, like from what I heard again, he had a lot of teams wanted at least to try him. They had their eyes on him, and I heard he's pretty good. He's up there. And you get to join a team with a coach that just like loves giving you attention, loves trying to like push your limits, and then an IGL who is exactly the same. You just have like two dads. You've just ended up on a team with two dads. I have no dad, so maybe I need to join KC. But I feel like Martin's gonna have a great time.
That
Alex
was
is gonna have a
fucking
great time.
dark. You're just gonna go past that like it didn't exist?
Hector, you know I'm a part of the No Dad Gang. Speaking of, Dre knows all about the No Dad Gang. I'm trying to explain the No Dad Gang to
Yo,
Hector.
I'm surprised this guy's alive. Have you seen?
Oh,
Okay.
You guys can hear him.
Let me
I
set the
think you need
stage.
to put him on.
Let me set the stage for Baby. Let me set the stage. This guy is in a fucking raging inferno. Congratulations, brother. You made it.
It's
You
crazy,
survived.
bro.
Listen. Adam on the fourth. Adam on a quarter shot. Let's go. Let me see it. Please. I want to point out one thing to everybody. This is about like dedication. Oh man, I forget the Fort Minor lyrics. Maybe I'm aging myself.
I
up,
have
but, like,
not heard anybody mention
I'll-
Fort Minor.
There's like a very popular song
Yeah, remember
that I was
the
about
name?
to cite.
Yeah.
Because
Remember
there's
the
something
name?
I was in a yeah. Well, so
Yeah.
look at you.
Well,
10% luck, 20% skill, 100%.
Right.
Yep.
Of Power and Will?
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, Power of Will.
5% pleasure, 10% pain, 100% reason.
Pain.
to remember the name.
Okay,
Reason
so
to remember the
I
name.
am
Biggest
actually
example is
correctly.
the whitest dude in the
Dedication
college
was in there, and it definitely was not. So my bad. But anyways,
There you go.
hit him with the top. Okay,
Hey.
so guys, you
There he
see
is.
what's behind him? You see the color that shit is?
Yeah,
Bro,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
so bad.
Raging motherfucking
It's so
inferno, and this
bad.
guy's on SpikeTalk. Let's go.
Yeah,
I was actually just looking at that. I was like, "There's no way that's the
Round of applause.
actual reflection,
Yes,
man.
bro.
That's
It
crazy."
is insane
Dude,
what's
you
happening
need
out there.
to take your cat
Insane
and get
work.
out of there. Make sure you take your cat.
Yeah, I rented a car. I got a bunch of suitcases packed and his thing already. So if
Yeah.
you need to evacuate, I'm gonna bounce, bro.
Oh my goodness.
Jeez.
But
I
yeah,
just want a game, you know.
respect. But although, don't tell me he brought a setup. You're gonna bring a setup to where you're going, bro?
I got a gaming laptop, so I'll be chill.
You
Oh
can't,
my
bro.
God.
But I'm hoping that they can figure this shit out because it's just
So,
it's
quick
just
thoughts
insane.
on
Who's your daddy?
Who's your daddy,
hilarious.
Who's your
Frost,
daddy?
bro? Frost, bro.
Let's go, baby.
Frost,
Yo,
Frost is hella daddy, bro. No, I swear.
yo, respect, bro, love.
Or should I say Papi?
Papi chulo? No,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Right into? Give me a papi chulo.
No, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing
All right,
that.
yeah,
Hector.
for sure. Yo, sorry, bro. It's not like that. I promise.
Sorry, Termy's my puppy.
Oh,
I've just hit it where it hurts. I've just hit it.
that's crazy.
Just say, I can't wait.
I can't wait.
You quick thoughts because we just wrapped this topic, not the show, obviously.
Okay.
Quick thoughts: Saadhak and ENGH pairing. What are your quick thoughts on that?
I don't know, bro. I mean, Saadhak, remember when he was on Loud last? He was blaming his coaches, bro. I mean, you can't blame ENGH, bro. Like, ENGH's not gonna let that shit
He's
fly.
gonna, yeah.
But I'm just saying, like, that's what he did in the last season.
But maybe the level between his coach or coaches that were on there were obviously not at the level of ENGH.
yeah.
Let's say in a perfect
ENGH
world,
is great, but he's not good at adapting, bro. Like, he's good at like creating, set stuff. But in terms of
now you're
adaptability,
talking-
like it's not there. So if Saadhak can bring the adaptability factor in, now all of a sudden they can put foot and ass throughout the whole season. But that's what we saw.
Yeah, I wonder-
that was the problem with
right.
that
I
team
wonder
was
how
they
much
did
of
great
that
at the
though
beginning,
was
that's it.
personnel, right? Because like we just talked about, like Eng has seemed to have so far in his career inexperienced IGLs, right? Like even Redguard very early, obviously Redguard developed and had experience or whatever, right? But adaptation is very difficult for new IGLs, right? Because you're inundated in Valorant. I mean, you know this, so I'm not like talking to you like you don't fucking know this, but like there's so many permutations that can happen in a round, right? 5 different agents, 4 different abilities, blah, 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 blah. What are the possible outcomes that can happen? Then you got to like factor in all this shit. Then you got to think about like what your team is going to do and what they have done. Then you got to think about the pattern, where people are playing, what the shit means. So for Eng, it might be, and I'm not defending him. I'm just saying it might be that he didn't have, I think, the time or the ability to make these quick adaptations. Because I know you're talking, after Gambit, MC3 pretty much fell off the cliff, right? Or M3C, sorry. I am borderline dyslexic, my bad.
No, I'm just a really, really big Gambit fangirl.
Right. So I mean, I am too, and I fucked up their name. Yeah. That's unlucky, bro. But so what you're talking about is the fact that they had a run, and then when people figured out what they were, nobody they couldn't put the wheels back on the wagon.
Yes, and here's the thing. It also was the same thing on TSM, and it's the same thing on KC. He does really good in the beginning with the new roster, and then he just struggles to figure out how to keep it consistent.
That's enough though, right? To make Thailand. If we think about short-term goals, they're way good, more than good enough. And let me ask the contextualize this by saying their first game is against Happy and Angel. I feel like that is such like a it could not be a better matchup. I feel like for the way the NAVI are, the way the KC are, for them to play against each other. And I need some juice on Koala. What y'all think about Koala?
He's a good team player. I think that's the best way to describe it. He's a good team player. He's not gonna be somebody that's just gonna go out and 1v5 like an Osboss or even a Mata. Mata has that star potential. But he's solid, bro. He's not gonna throw your game either. You know what I mean? And I heard that he's a very good teammate. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it's enough to stop a player like Elite. Who's
fair.
Insane,
I think if the expectation is Johnny is gonna be the difference between you making Thailand or not, I think whoever put the roster together is grossly misunderstanding the player that they have. I think when he says that he's solid, I kind of agree. It's and this is no disrespect to Governor, because everybody knows how much I love him, but I've had a
just in the room,
no, everyone knows what I think of him as a player and who I think he is as just a dude too, right? But one of the growing pains I had with him in particular was sometimes you can be so confident that you just continue to go for more, and it doesn't always work out in your favor. And sometimes you can actually give back what you take, right? Johnny is not that type of player, right? And I won't say that Johnny, because I've coached him as well, I won't say that Johnny is the most intellectual duelist I've ever seen, and he's fucking amazing. But what I would tell you is what he said about him being solid, I think he meant dependable.
Yes, exactly.
And the truth is, in this league,
you know what you're gonna get.
Yeah, I think that's so fucking important, because to say that Johnny is inconsistent is fucking stupid, because this guy, whether it's online or LAN, he's as consistent, I think, a duelist as probably I've coached. I mean, granted, I didn't have years with Johnny.
How ready is he, do you think, to be Angel's this week you're playing Omen. Have fun. Go.
I think he'll be hella ready. He'll be hella ready.
Okay. No. Hold on. She said Omen. I don't think he's going to be ready. If you tell me a different duelist, yes. If you're telling me different roles.
Yeah, but that's what Angel does.
No.
I know. Here's the beauty. An Angel problem, not a Johnny problem, in my opinion.
But here's the beauty in Koalanoob is that he was already doing this shit.
Yeah.
On M80, right? He was already playing the Omen, and he was getting quite proficient on it. Keep in mind, it is tier 2.
For sure.
And they did choke. Sure. It's not he doesn't have reps on it.
No, absolutely.
Now, if he getting nervous on VCT is a whole nother story that we don't know. Right. I don't think that'll happen, but you just
right.
Never
but
know,
I don't think that will happen with him.
Yeah.
Right. So I think who he is, small land, big land, online scrims, he's going to be. And that I think you can work with. But I definitely want to push back on if he's coming here to play Omen.
I mean, he probably isn't, but there will be a week.
No.
There
right,
might be a week.
No. But that's my point. My point is, if Navi tries to do this again,
right?
It didn't work with Artis. I'm telling you, it's not going to work with Johnny. Let Johnny play duelist. Let him have a single role for the whole year, bro. Why are you bringing? I mean, and again, I'm not accusing Angel, and I know you said it sort of in jest. I'm just saying. Let's not bring imports and go, yo, you know what we're going to do, bro? We're going to put you on like shit that you're not supposed to play against guys that are really fucking good. Let's do that, bro. No, he has years and years of playing a single role at a high level. Let's let him do that. I'm not bringing Babybay here to like, if I bring him to like Asia, I'm not going to be like, yo, Babybay, I need you to play Sova. So I hope for my sake that Johnny can show what he can do.
But this is Navi, though, right? Like,
I know.
Fucking CNED had to play Omen. You would think that CNED is the last person.
But I am, for some reason, going to be Johnny's attorney here, and I'm just going to say, everybody needs to cut him some fucking slack if this guy ends up on fucking, like, Tejo P.
Oh, when it happens, you're the first person I'm going to call out on the broadcast.
And when he goes back to 30, I just want everyone to know he's not that guy. But if you put him on a duelist...
It's gonna happen. It's 100% gonna happen. Yeah. Well, and I'm gonna call you. I'm gonna be like
that guy.
That guy's Frost is having a heart attack.
Yo, he's gonna be NA for real. He's in the nearest airport right quick.
I do think that KC's gonna win that series, though. I think they're gonna win it.
I think so.
I agree.
I think KC's roster on paper just looks insane. Like, well, not insane, but it looks good. Yeah, especially if they can figure out like
but then they go
integrating exciting. I heard that Elite's like English isn't that well, isn't good, but if they can figure out like that aspect and Elite, his English gets better and he's able to like communicate his plays. Fuck man, I've seen that guy like 1v4 so many times on like one site, bro.
Yeah, but have you noticed the pattern on this new KC roster? Because in the past, like N is like, let's pick up 3 duelists and see what happens, and then you get Gambit. Let's pick up 3 duelists, and they picked up 3 sentinels. They were like, he just picked up 3 people that they could literally run Deadlock, Vice, and Cypher if they want to do this.
Like, you remember how duelists transitioned to sentinels? Maybe he's like, wait, maybe I can turn sentinels into motherfucker.
They're smart. He does this shit. I don't know why he loves doing this, but he's just like, I'm picking up 3 people that do the same stuff.
Yo, Tejo P? He could be his own duelist.
Oh my God.
He can fucking create his own entry path.
It's gonna happen.
This, guys. Let me go first, bro. First interval.
I'm really glad that Dre turned up at this time because I really want to talk about Floor and I want to just talk about Floor and also the players around Floor because I think it's twofold because I've seen people being really excited about this and then people just being sexist, piggy, incels as they are, obviously. But I want to first of all shout out to the players on Apex because I've heard from a lot of Game Changers players that even though the opportunities are there, some teams just aren't willing to play with a Game Changers player. Some teams are just like, I don't care how good this player is, I'm not playing with a girl. Or like, I don't think this is going to work in our team culturally. And I just want to shout out Apex for actually not going down the route of all that bullshit and be like, we recognize Floor is goated. We need a duelist. We trial her. By the way, I've heard that in her trials, she was like, low-key shitting on like other tier 1 teams, like shitting on them. So I just think that this is a great like moment for the game. And as a woman and as a friend of Floor's, I fucking love this. And I know Dre, you should be excited about this, right?
Yeah, I'm super happy for Floor. I was actually surprised that she decided to even make the change in the first place because when you're so dominant and you're kind of just destroying everybody, it can be very easy to just want to stay in that zone and just like play GC for the rest of your life and just like be the best forever, you know? But to like push yourself and really try to become truly the best in the world now because you have the chance to play against, you know, the quote unquote best in the world, you know, the VCT platform and everything like that. I think this is a huge moment to just showcase how good Game Changers players can actually be coming over into this league. And I think at first it is going to be, even for Apex, I'm sure it was going to be a big culture shock. But I mean, we're just playing games. It's not like it's a, you know, like you had to share a locker room and you know what I mean? It's not like that. So it's like if someone's good enough, they should be in the league. And I'm a big proponent of that because I feel like, myself included, there was a lot of players that haven't made it to VCT that should have been in there, you know, compared to some of the people that I'm seeing. So I'm very happy for Floor, and I think it's a good starting point for, maybe even Mel now to transition, and et cetera. Like who knows? But Apex doing this is definitely going to make it so that all teams at VCT are going to keep looking at GC, and it'll be on the radar. Hopefully, that's what I'm hoping.
I also have, obviously I'm biased, but I also think she's going to do well. I feel like if Apex are not, like if they lose games, it's not going to be because of Floor. I think she is the last thing I'm worried about on this roster. I think she's going to do really, really well for herself. And I'm with you. I'm hoping other teams will start rethinking about this, level of boys club. We have to care about our culture. We have to think about how bringing someone that's different than you could potentially change things, which I think is really dumb.
I think that's weird because, I think we've gotten...
Tell me about it.
I think we should have gotten past that point. Even... I don't know if we want to talk about it here, but I will just say even homosexuality is a thing. Right, where some people may not want to play with someone that might be that, and I feel like, bro, we have gone way. I feel like we should have gotten way past that stuff. As for, some teams not wanting to play with Floor, okay, that's cool, fine. I think at the end of the day, though, like even at Talon, not that I didn't think Floor was good enough or whatever, but I'm just saying, like, if you're gonna help me win, I do not care.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
It doesn't
like if you're good, you're good.
Right,
you deserve it.
So, small thing. Jovi talked to me briefly about I can't say whom, but potentially like one of a GC player that he has a lot of respect for, possibly joining Talent Academy, and I was up for it. I was like, actually, that one, yeah, sure. It didn't happen. Obviously, we announced our academy, but it is certainly something that when he told it to me, I didn't shut it down. I was like, actually, I'm down. And it fit. So it just didn't work out that way, and that's cool. But yeah, I think yeah, sure. They should be commended for that. No problem. I don't want to sound like I'm diminishing that at all. I'm only talking about the Valorant part because that's like normally how I think. Yeah, I think Floor is in a good spot with that team for a bunch of reasons. Expectations are low, given what happened to them. And she has Avova. Avova saying that he feels like he is back. I think that's like good because you have like one of the most experienced controller players in all of Valorant. I think what you can learn from that, and this is not to diminish Mel or anyone on Shopify, but like there's a level between like what Avova knows and like what anyone at Shopify knows, right? Because Avova was here from the very beginning of the game. So every meta, every evolution, every nerf, right? Like that's not to say that like a more skilled player now can't help you learn the game better. It's just that it's so much easier. Small example, like when Jip Boys was coming up and like, some of the conversations that we have, Cruz would be like, yo, Haven back in the day, teams used to do this smoke. If you ever see this smoke, they are trying to do this. This is shit that FNATIC did like 2021, right? Like, and having someone on your team that can do that, believe it or not, it seems like, yeah, bro, but nobody would use that. But then fucking the one time you see this shit happen and you know how to deal with it and you make a play and you look good, that one highlight or that one clip might change your life. You have no idea. But that teammate telling you or being able to tell you at that moment, yo, here's a team that did it. Here's the way to counter it. Here's where it comes from. That I've seen that personally make the difference. I think Floor is in a unique spot that, like, instead of going to, like, I mean, this is like no disrespect, but like, imagine if Floor went to Gentlemates, where like most of those players are all coming up. I think you have like a Czech player and a French player and like, like a German player, right? So all those guys have to now come from different, areas where you learn the game, play the game, all that stuff, and they're all sort of like new. Whereas she gets like the OG of OGs, and he gets to just pass game. And she just came off back-to-back championships in the league. And now she's like, oh, wait, I'm playing against guys that don't know this? Oh, so when I think of the move, that's like where my brain goes. It's like situation matters, right? We talked about this earlier. And it's like, wow, she got a good spot because she got guys and particularly like a guy that like, can pass
Been around for forever.
game she's gonna need. Yeah, like that stuff is so valuable, but no one really talks about it. I mean, you kind of hinted at it with like the angel thing. I mean, I know you did some of that other stuff in jest, but like it's also a benefit to have someone with that extensive knowledge. Yeah, sure, some guy might be crazy like throwing a duelist on fucking Omen, but you know.
I also think I don't think they've announced their 5th, so I'm not gonna leak because I don't want to get in trouble. But I do also think Apex have this kind of storyline of redemption because so much about Valorant right now is the kids, you know, your Zeus, your Primi, like all these little kids coming up, you know, the young players, the ones that you want to invest in for a future. And then you have a roster with like Mosey, Hype, and Avova, who, by the way, were all here in the beginning, who all, I mean, at least Avova went to global events and stuff and won loads of trophies in EMEA. And like Hype and Mosey never did that. And you have these players who are a lot older compared to the 16-year-old like Turkish wonder kids who just want to win. And I feel like this move with Floor is a testament to how much they just care about winning and want to get back to the top. Because I know they tried other players as well. They tried other players, and you have one player that's consistently shitting on everyone. Of course, you're going to be excited about it. I assume they're excited about this season.
But even if she wasn't shitting on them, in my opinion, I mean, I don't know for sure, and I also don't speak to Avova like that either, so I'm just projecting, of course, but I'm just saying, I'm pretty sure even if it was a tie with someone else, she's a champion.
Yeah.
The pedigree
Probably
matters. So, like,
plays into it.
no matter what, she was going to break that tie, I think, from those guys. So she had a lot, I think, I mean, it goes both ways about they both bring stuff to each other, but I think, like, no matter what, even if other people were being highlighted in those scrims also, I think the fact that she's a champion probably presents a lot of like, man, this might be this, you know, this might be the one, and it could be something that kind of helps her transition to the VCT stage.
Also, in a different, completely off topic, but it must, I don't know, maybe I'm projecting, but obviously they won the tournament with Kayak and Soulcast, and both of them left to go to other teams in the same league. So as, you know, you must also feel a type of way about like, you know, you want to prove them wrong a little bit. Like, you don't want your teammates that you won Ascension with to just instantly leave you. Maybe, I don't know, maybe, I mean, obviously.
No, Andre knows how I...
But all right, but hold on to Kayak, to their defense, the players that left.
I mean, if FNATIC come knocking, you want to leave.
Well, but do you want to be on a team that's guaranteed a spot in the league?
I know.
You know, and that's where this whole system kind of it's just weird,
yeah. But if you're a caretaker, no, guys, I'm sorry, I'm just joking, but I'm not actually.
But does that? Do you think
the point is that it doesn't have to be. Yeah, it doesn't have to be bad blood, but obviously it's motivation though for
they have
Apex, right?
Prove, is that the thing? They're gonna want to prove it's not just themselves. They also got like beef. You guys want to talk about beef? They got some Hanu they need to, they got some Wagyu beef they about to serve up this year.
I also think Floor, just like hero pool wise, the fact that she could play every single duelist in the game is like a perfect replacement for Kayak as well. Who was
right, that's what I was gonna say. Was like that was a limiting factor the other way. So it's funny.
It's also like it's good for your fan base. Because I'm buying an Apex bundle because of Floor. Like, I don't give a fuck about anything else. That is enough for me to support this team.
I think it was a genius marketing move for sure. I mean, sure, it had its, like, sure, it was a performance thing. But, yeah, I think it was a genius marketing move also. And I'm sure it's one that obviously would make Riot happy, right? So it's like there was
so something you can't do, Hector. You need to start picking up, you know, you need to start doing things to make Riot happy.
This guy's gonna be gone if he keeps going O2 barbecue.
True, but I'll give you one better. I'm just not a culture fit, guys. I'm just not a culture fit. Verbatim. Not a culture fit, yo.
Okay. I mean, speaking of cultures, I'm so good at these, like, what's the word? Segues. Speaking of culture fit, less vitality? How do we feel?
I got the insider info, so I'm going to let you guys go first.
Oh, okay.
I got insider info, but I ain't saying shit because I've already done too many...
Oh, but I got it on vitality. You got the loud one. You got the loud one.
Well, he's got it on everybody.
but you should you should actually give the loud one, because then I could talk about his evolution, bro.
Oh, because Faded, of course.
Oh, yeah, it's my boy.
So if you watch a lot of film, Utility is not his friend, and it is what it is. And the guy is a amazing aimer for sure. But, macro is, sometimes not in people's dictionaries. And, it's kind of difficult. So tell me about the evolution of the wonder aimer.
So
that's named less.
First of all, I heard that he's like out of a lot of the players on that roster, he is like one of the most chill ones out of all of them. Everyone gets along with him.
Oh yeah, personality wise.
Yeah, personality wise fits in perfect, like a glove, bro. Skill wise, they said that he's just out of this world. They've never seen somebody move like this guy. It's specifically Less's movement, right? Over every
movement aim, yeah.
Now you add in Faded, who's like this like pure analytics guy,
Right.
Like,
now you got the guy that's like,
he's like, yo, this set of utility is good in this moment. This timing is good in this moment. Like he's
situations matter.
Exactly, right? So apparently Less has been dominating. Like he's leveled up, right? Like and I've heard Vitality as a whole have been performing very well in scrims. Now keep in mind,
of course,
fucking scrims could be your worst enemy, bro. You know what I mean? Like you know this. Frost, you know this. Scrims can be your worst enemy, bro. It might make you a little delusional, right? So it's like,
just, we could win champs this year. Like I see it.
But if they're able to translate and they don't put all the pressure on themselves, I mean, I think you got a top 4 roster no matter what. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. Oh yeah, they have the makings for sure. On paper.
On paper.
I'm actually pleased to hear that about Les because. Obviously, I think a lot of people, their concern is like, okay, well, super team, that's great. But there's always that counterpoint to super teams, right? Is that it doesn't work well as a team. But if you can have someone now who's a Sentinel who can also assist the macro, then that'd be great. It's funny that you mentioned that because
coach that can get a guy to buy in and fill his biggest hole.
Yeah, that's a better way to
where
put
situations can matter, right? Because now you have.
It's funny that's how it goes because
Sue heard the keyword, bro. Fill the biggest hole.
Dre, he's so sus. Earlier he was like, "Oh yeah," and then we blew our load. I was like, "Why are you so sus?"
You can't, Frost. You can't do that around Sue.
He's so sus.
Pause. How about that? Is that better? So I don't.
That's still sus. That's still sus, bro.
Unlucky, bro.
Pause, bro. What are you pausing for, bro?
Unlucky, bro. My bad.
All right, finish. Sorry.
Yeah, finish. Yeah, finish.
Oh, yeah. I was just gonna say,
can't finish. You finish.
It's funny.
You know what's funny is that is literally what she said. That's actually literally what she said. My bad.
Oh man. I was just gonna bring up the fact that wasn't it also Les when he was on his stream when he was talking about like Riot can nerf Viper all they want, but they'll never nerf my Vandal, and that's why I'll always be good.
Exactly.
He was very aware of this. He was very aware that he was pure aimer. Like
for
sure, bro.
Yeah. For sure. But that's a good evolution.
Okay, I am praying for like Derke's success, like for the rest of the time, because he's great. I love him. Contrary to popular belief, I do not influence any decisions on FNATIC. They do not pay me. I am not on the team.
Wait, people think you actually influence?
I have to turn my DMs off every time they lose a game, which, by the way, is only twice a year. Like, they don't lose very often. People seem to forget that. But yeah, everyone just comes at me for some reason. But I firmly think letting...
I'm kidding.
And what did you say? I didn't even hear what Dre said. I didn't hear what Dre said.
Yo, can we get a playback? Actually, never mind.
No.
We're not going to kill time, but let's just say that what you did was very sus there, Missy.
I think Derke can turn any team into a regional winning, even globally winning one. I don't even think it matters who's around him. I think he is objectively one of the best players in the world, the best in his role. I will say this at the end of days. I'm never going to change my opinion. And I think just him being on that roster makes them like 10 times scarier than any team in this league. And I will be very, very, very surprised if they do not make Thailand. I'm going to say this right now. The slot, there's only one slot in the EMEA because the other one is going to Vitality. Yeah.
Oh,
genuinely.
Okay.
That's how I feel.
See, here it's interesting that because I think everyone agrees now that Derke is obviously in that pedigree, right, as an individual player. But my thought process, and I've heard a couple other people that would also agree, is that I feel that Derke might need to actually do more individually on a team like Vitality compared to FNATIC, where it was, there was a system in place, obviously, a lot of time had passed, and I just don't know if he's going to be able to do that at kickoff, like right away.
I think he's gonna shit on everyone.
Yeah.
I got to talk with him a little bit, and I think what he's been doing in his personal life has been fucking fantastic. He's been eating better. He's been going to the gym, and a lot of the duelist role, and honestly, you could say this about like anything in Valorant, is confidence. Confidence is key in this game. But you give a guy who was arguably in a little bit of a, like, I wouldn't say shackles, but he was a little bit, in a system that probably now has a lot more freedom to like really show off his mechanical skill and like, maybe play a little bit more agents and etc. I think you might be seeing like Derke 2.0. I think Sue was right. I think this guy might go absolutely nuclear.
Okay.
But I see where you're coming from though, because it's like now you don't have that system in place on FNATIC and Boaster to fall back on, who's gonna get you the macro win, So
that's I feel the whole you brought out confidence is key there, right? Is that I don't necessarily mean that Derke doesn't have the skills to do it. It's just that he's so used to like having that system that this is what we do.
Well, no, I mean, I think let's just say the elephant in the room. It's the IGL diff at this point, right? Because then it becomes, you're putting a duelist who, I like Faded. You know this. I also like what they did to Vitality and like those players. And Safe, I like you too. So this is not... But our game plan going into them when we played them was to put him in shackles. And he did nothing in our series. The guy that broke us was actually Trex because I didn't see him coming. And you can say that's like a, like a game plan issue. Yeah, cool. But like, I also didn't expect us to lose 3 5v3s in a row and break our back, right? So it's like... I felt like we did everything we wanted to do against that team, and we did it against Safe. And if that guy couldn't make adjustments against us, then it goes, wait, this guy's going to be the IGL of your future with a super team? So then it becomes like, okay, when you make that comparison, then you got to think, but wait, he just left probably the most decorated IGL in the EMEA-ish, right? So I think it's a valid argument, and this is no disrespect to Safe. It just is what it is, right? I think it's no disrespect to say that that's, I think, the question.
Yeah.
I will also say that on a team like FNATIC, it was almost impossible to shine because you were playing next to Alpha, who would, if he felt like winning 3 rounds in a row, he would just do it. You were playing again with Leo, who is the best player in the world. Kron, if he wants to, he can. I won't mention Jake, but I think people kind of forgot how good Derke is. Even next to players like Alpha and Kron and Leo and so on and so forth, he was insane. He was so good. Like the amount of people I feel like are just like stats Andes. I just forget. He has one bad map and they're like, oh, he's washed. But I feel like people are out of their minds when they don't put Derke in the category of some of the best things we've ever seen in this game. The amount of times that he would turn an unwinnable round into a winnable one because he just felt like pushing down mid on Haven and gets 3 kills. Just because he can. So I think he is going to actually be able to shine, like Dre said, because he is, no disrespect to the players like Les and Trex and Safe and Kicks. They are also very good. But I do think Leo was just so good. It was impossible to think that any player was better than Leo on FNATIC over the last 2 years. That's
a fair point. I just feel like it is not a faux pas to say that like, hey,
big
look,
word for you.
I'd have my vernacular is quite high. I may come
my vernacular is quite high. My vernacular.
I may come off like a doofus, and may actually be a doofus.
On that, by the way.
Right.
Okay.
She doesn't want to come on though.
I want to put something forward for you super quick. Just pure duelist role right now.
Yeah.
In EMEA, who's better than Derke?
Babybay. No, I'm playing.
In EMEA, who's better than Derke?
I mean, I think you have a strong argument. I think it is true. I mean, you could say, some people might say like, well, if Woot is playing consistently, then yeah. But
Woot's not. Yeah, he's not even.
But no, I think you're absolutely correct. But I'm just saying, if you look at most duelists,
that's tough, bro. Who is? Bro?
Yeah, but
the only argument you could have had was Safe, and now he's not even on duelist.
Right, right. And now he's your IGL, and that I think is where I think the conversation you're having with Faded and situations come in, because this is why I believe that Safe will be a good IGL and why Vitality is going to be strong is because I think, good players, good coaching staff, good fundamentals on the team, good coach with a strong philosophical approach, but also, isn't like a dictator. He lets instinct player. Because I think that's like probably the best thing that I heard from Yinsu was the Haven conversation. Because you know what that tells me? That tells me that Derke can go off script, think for himself, and risk the game on his decision, which is...
Dude, you faced it. It was
right.
FURIA FNATIC lock-in. The Derke was... It was Derke versus Digizine every single round.
Yeah, for sure.
Till the end of time.
Yeah, and to me, that tells me that he's in a good place because, sometimes you can go to a team, like an example, like sometimes you can get with a coach that doesn't fit your style or sort of like, give you, I think, what makes you the best for the betterment of the team. Because like I pretty much told this to Andre very early and he saw this and we had conversations about this even on the show about like Governor, right? Because I might have not been the best coach for him to show. I mean, I know he has like the best, because the thing is, Yinsu, he has the best. No. Hear me out. I'm serious. Yeah. He has the ACS record in VCT. Did you know this?
I did. You told me that twice.
Right.
This is the third time I've heard this. Yeah.
Right. And yet sometimes I put him on shackles, right? But what if he goes to someone like Faded, who is much different than me? Like, you never know what version of this player you would see. He could be obviously better, right? There are things that Faded could have brought out of him that are better. And also, what if he went, let's say, somewhere else and it was worse? And I think that what you're talking about with Derke is that the right guy might be in the right situation with the right teammates, and that might be fucking awesome.
Shout out to Dre's cat.
Yeah.
Who knew Babybay is a cat guy, not a dog guy?
I
Doesn't
did.
he look like a dog guy?
That's a green flag, the fact that he's a cat guy. We went to a cat cafe in Shanghai and I've never seen him. Well, I have seen him be surrounded by pussy, but not that many. That was the most. That was more than usual. Looking at FNATIC and obviously the new agent coming out, who do we think should be on that Tejo duty?
I think crashies coming into this roster is here to play one thing and one thing only. That's Sova for forever.
Okay, so not crashies then.
Look at Frost biting his lip right now.
Nah, I'm good.
I heard Frost say that crashies doesn't have what it takes to play.
Yeah,
this
like
game.
literally he was saying the most crazy shit. We actually had to cut because he was saying
so does
crashies
Leo when he comes
so
back, so does
stupid.
Boaster.
And he can't
So
play.
does Alpha. They could all play
The
it. What you
Bandejo,
talking
bro.
about? My mom could play it. It's so easy to play. Like, Steve in the back, holla at Jesus, he could play.
But in all seriousness, probably it would probably be Chronicle, right? Because I mean, you have the Sova player now. Chronicle is known for playing that initiator. Now, what's gonna happen when there's KO and Tejo? I don't know. I haven't really thought that far ahead. It's a great question that you brought up, honestly, because there might be comps where you run both, right? So.
That's what caught me, because originally, if you had just asked me, I think I would have just gone with crashies, but as an individual. But then you think about like, okay, if you're considering like double initiator, et cetera, yeah, I mean, team wise, yeah, maybe Chronicle is the de facto pick. Whether it's individually the best or not is a separate question. But sometimes individually the best isn't the best, right? Sometimes you just need what the team needs. So. Yeah, I mean, Chronicle is obviously more than capable of playing that agent. I mean, he plays many more complex agents at a high level. So.
Yeah.
Frost? You want to answer this question?
Yeah, you were giving crashies the smoke, which is crazy. Like,
I can't believe you said that about Austin.
I can't believe you said that about.
I'm not going to leak anything, obviously, but
you just did though. I thought
just
we have power here.
Coming from like a pure fan, watch the game a lot perspective. In the off season, the games that they were playing, it felt like they were sort of shifting Alpha into the secondary duelist role more permanently, and then giving Kron more of a sentinel sort of vibe. Like Kron was playing Cypher, he looked pretty good on it as well.
Good on it, yeah. He did
look really good on it. So it does pose a question. Yeah, it does pose a question. How
she leaked it. She leaked it. You heard that? She said, yeah.
How flexible can Kayak be? How flexible does Boaster have to be this coming year as well? Obviously, he can just sit on Astra all of a sudden now. He's going to have a nice time.
I don't know. You're asking us the questions, but can you tell us?
Yeah.
Because I thought you know everything. I thought you make decisions over there.
On episode like 150, I would definitely leak everything.
Oh, respect.
I'm coming back to leak it all. Dre, you missed this, but when we're on episode 150, we're going to do a tier list of Hector's beef. He's going to tell us all of the beef he has, and we're going to tier list it.
Dude, this is going to be epic. This is actually going to be legendary.
He's promised this.
We got to do it in person too. We'll fly out. We'll fly out to Berlin.
Oh, you got to bring that guy there too. Actually,
No, we're going to Korea.
Korea?
No, we're going to Korea because we have to be there with the boys. We got to bring Exalt. We got to bring Precision.
Wait, did you say Exalt? The slander, bro.
Why is that?
The slander.
Sorry, Drake. We got to bring Drake.
Drizzy or
we got to bring Colin. Like I'm on first name basis. Aaron.
Respect.
Yeah.
Respect.
Duh. But yeah, I feel like FNATIC might not have a nicer time as they have had previously, purely because
this is tough.
not having Leo is like,
Best player in the world.
right.
yeah.
I mean, EMEA is so fucking competitive. Think about it. We've already talked about a bunch of teams. Okay, so fine. We talked about Foot a little bit, not much. FNATIC. Well, now we're talking about FNATIC. We talked about Vitality a bunch.
Yeah.
Right. We haven't talked about Heretics place. Does anybody want to say what they placed at last year? Sorry, champs.
Oh my goodness.
You get my point? Like, holy fuck.
It's actually stacked.
Holy fuck.
I also think they're going to have such a nice time with the new agent. Like Vut and Brians.
I agree. But just to talk about FNATIC a little bit, this is what I hope. Like, I just hope, because obviously for us, because we're in the scene and we understand everything that's been going on and you're missing your best player, we all know that the expectations for FNATIC this year, because we're all in the scene
every year,
it shouldn't be the greatest of all time. Because now, you have a young new player that you're trying to develop still, who's Kayak, and he's great. He's phenomenal, actually. His stats were some of the best I've ever seen on all the duelist roles. But now you have an official stand-in, and keep in mind, it's not that crashies isn't like, him. crashies is great, but he's still a stand-in. And you lost Derke, so it's like the expectations shouldn't be as high as they normally are, but I'm just worried that the fans are still going to bring that same energy in. And we've already seen it, like even with FNATIC, who still was dominating, getting first in every EMEA split. Like the fans are still just dick riding them to oblivion.
But their bracket is
crazy. The FNATIC
favorable
hate.
though, if you think about it though, because watch, because they play Heretics. Okay, let's say they lose. Let's just say they lose to Heretics.
Hold on.
I'm not saying they can't.
Favorable as in they don't have 6 extra days to prep?
Oh, no. Sorry. Whoa.
It's not favorable. Hector is not
You're
favorable
talking about their
at
tournament
all.
run. I just said the bracket, the bracket of
But
teams.
the bracket, but it.
The
I
dates,
thought
the
you
dates
meant
matter.
actual
No, I'm not.
bracket.
I'm not saying that doesn't matter. I'm just saying, if you think of just the teams they have to go to at least compete, you think about it. Okay, let's say worst case scenario they lose. Okay, Vitality, you already said you think they're going to make the finals. I actually agree with you. So let's just assume. Can we all assume, for the sake of the conversation, whether we agree or disagree, that they will make it all the way through? Correct. That means that theoretically, Foot is in their way in losers finals, right? Because if the brackets flip, and then it's either Foot or possibly Heretics again, and then if they get past one of them, now it's basically like a crapshoot, right?
Yeah, but they might not even get past BBL or Giant X at this point, because we're assuming they're just going to beat whoever wins that game.
Okay, right. Yeah.
Okay, hold on.
Hold up.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't think it's as that simple though. I really don't. I mean, I think,
of course, because teams are good and they're working hard, and Tejo's in the game, and he is the almighty equalizer.
BBL
for sure.
look really good. I think this is the best BBL has ever looked.
Sure. I may say, hey, BBL, I didn't understand your game, like Shaq did later on, for sure. But I'm just saying, if you think of it in a vacuum, they avoid a lot of crazy. They avoid KC. They avoid NAVI. They probably won't play them because when the brackets flip, they'll have to meet in lower finals. So I actually think that FNATIC has a very favorable place. Admittedly, to your point, their tournament run isn't favorable because they have less days to prepare and basically compete. And I absolutely think that plays a part in it. And I'm not trying to diminish that at all because I think that is fucked. And I do not agree with that at all. But just the teams they have to play, the quality of the road to get there is not it's not marred with the same difficulty. For instance,
who do you think has the most difficult? Who like out of the, I guess, the usual suspects? You know, the teams you're expecting to make it far. Who actually has?
Oh, Vitality has the hardest road actually because they have to play like insane people to get there. They have to play KC potentially, then fucking Foot, and then finally welcome FNATIC or Heretics. What the flying
Actually, you're right.
fuck?
That
right. Is cap, yo. But unlucky, bro. That shit just happens. It just so happens that good teams, I think they placed fourth. Did they make it out of groups? Yeah, they did. So they made
Vitality
so they're
last
probably
year?
Yeah. So they're what, the 3 seed, 2 seed? What the fuck?
At kickoff, they lost. Going into champs, they were second.
Yeah,
it was FNATIC and Vitality in the finals.
Right. Sorry, second. You're correct. I forgot. My bad. So as a 2 seed, they basically got Gen G'd. I think that's tough
I love that that's a thing.
Yeah, right. Like, I mean, Gen G, you know, that was insane work what happened to them. I mean, that team could have been the greatest team in Valorant history, and nobody's going to remember the year they had now.
Isn't that crazy? Like,
that's just how life is, bro. Nobody.
Yeah, it is.
Just like we talked about last week. Nobody gives a fuck if you don't win the last game of the season. If you do not win champs at this point, nobody gives a shit. You can win a major. Nobody gives a fuck anymore. No one cares. Right? Like,
people do care.
Crashies won a major. Where are people saying in NA? He's not good enough anymore. It's like, okay, cool. So
I mean, same as CNED.
That's a good point.
CNED is not even on a team. I cannot believe we're living in a world where Charles Neddington is not on a team.
And on top of it, it's not like he looked even like bad. Like I feel like
he was great.
He had a great year.
Yeah,
like, he had a great year.
Yeah,
but he's just not 18 years old anymore.
He's 22.
Welcome to Duelist, baby. You're 22. Oh, you gotta retire, bro.
He's literally like 22.
Gotta get content.
That's. I mean, you make a point. You make a good point there, and I don't really have a smart or would he come back for that. But yeah, I just think that that's just how the cookie crumbled for them, and I think it's very unfortunate. And I don't think it's going to be easy. I think FNATIC. I don't think FNATIC has the easiest road. I think Heretics does of all the teams, which is
they earned it though. To be fair, bro.
Yeah, of course. I mean, they're the 1 seed, so. Yeah. But yeah, so the bracket did what it did for them, but it didn't do for Vitality what it did for That's just tough fucking luck. So,
life.
Oh, bro, I have to say, I got PR. Bro, I
haven't even seen the bracket.
Bro,
the Pacific bracket.
T1 or fucking PRX. Good luck, son.
That's how.
Holla. Thanks,
hey,
bro.
You get a buy at least. You know?
So does FNATIC and Vitality. All the teams we're talking about. What you mean? Yeah. Why do they get credit?
And you also get a break.
It's because
you get a nice break.
I'm not a culture fit even on this. Even on this show.
Okay, wait. So it's my god. Paper X also don't have the nicest.
Yeah, bro.
Gen G are chilling.
Bodied, bro.
Gen G's chilling, dude. Gen G's
chilling. It's okay though. Riot needed the script. I get it, bro. Riot Korea, APAC. I respect that one. I respect that one.
My hot take is Boom are going to be insane. I think Boom are good.
That is a hot take.
Yeah. I think Boom are going to be good.
Bro. It's funny.
That's my hot take.
Yo, I respect that shit.
I think Boom are going to be good. I think people are going to be surprised. And I also think DFM are going to be good. I think DFM are going to be sick.
Oh, yeah, we talked about DFM. Like they have the highest potential for sure.
How the fuck did they keep May? Like, does May just not speak like another language? Because I cannot believe nobody tried to come and steal him. Like, I'm super surprised.
I think Japanese culture is also traditionally loyal in this sense. So I also think, like, even if they had opportunities, like, let's say he spoke English like me. I'm not really sure
then
that's
he's
the
definitely
guy that would leave.
He's definitely not a culture fit on another team.
Okay, let's say his vernacular was William Chobra's, right? I don't think he would leave. You're not going to see him out in LA on a NAVCT team, I think.
Actually, why do you think that there's not a lot of import from APAC to other regions? Because I know for a fact that there's a couple of EMEA teams that were really wanting a couple of players from APAC, but they just never... It didn't happen.
Oh, man.
It's probably a multitude of things, but I know for one, at least in previous titles, and I can only imagine it's not any better in Valorant, is probably also just like the way of getting in touch and setting it up, right? Not a lot of players are well set up for that in APAC, like outside of the region, right? Because it's all just kind of local. It's all by hearsay, and there's not like a good management system, et cetera. So that's probably part of it. I mean, obviously culture, language barrier, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest
I think that's the biggest one too. Is
yeah,
the
because I
language
think
barrier is
Buzz
just-
and Munchkin thought that they would be like, you know,
Yeah.
the darlings of the ball, and then it
But
was like,
Would they want to leave if you know they came knocking?
I would say this. I think money talks for sure, but I also think that like, oh man, this is gonna sound rude, and I don't mean it to be. Actually, I really don't. I'm being genuine. I think it's easier for North Americans and Europeans to leave their homes than I think it ever will be Chinese and APAC.
100%.
Yeah,
I would agree.
I think it's just easier. And why? I think you can talk about so many different dynamics. Like, I think it's, you know, a little bit like socio-political. I think it's a little bit of socioeconomics. Like, I think there's just like a lot of, sometimes it's even religion, you know, but I just see it happen. I think it's going to continue to happen more the other way than it ever will be the Far East or, you know, Southeast Asia coming to the West.
I hope it happens. I hope it happens.
I mean,
yeah, I'll say that too. Yeah.
Yeah. The thing is like, at least for Korea specifically, obviously, like it's happened before in other games, obviously. And I think some players, they find out it actually works out well for them. But just generally, the consensus in the country is like that it's either tough or like, oh, it's not just going to be the same. And they're so different. And there's already that stigma, like before you even jump into it, right? And so then it's like you have to be a special type of person in Korea to think that you're going to adjust well. Like, I think you already go in with that like low expectation. So that probably doesn't help, right? And then I would also say that I think just even language wise, it's like if you're going to NA, I think the expectation is that like you might be welcoming, but the expectation is that your language has to be pretty smooth because the way you're talking in America in English is very different from the way you're talking in English out here, right? So
speed and everything, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll say this though, and this is me being a little bit facetious, but also like actually serious. It's like I'm teetering the line. Listen, if you're a Korean and you try to go to America, don't. You know why? Why the fuck would you want to leave Korea to go to NA? I'm telling you this shit right now. Andre will tell you. Food,
he's not wrong.
Delivery services,
Taxes, bro. The taxes.
the taxes, bro.
Like, okay, yeah.
Stay fucking
listen,
away.
so listen, players might
Trust
think,
me,
oh, there's a big bag in NA.
water.
Yeah. Real
Literal
quick,
dog water.
players might think, oh yeah, like look, like I'm making like 2-3 times as much. Okay, great. Yeah, on paper you are, but when you get hit with that 40% tax, all of a sudden you're like, damn.
Oh yeah.
Being in Korea sounds pretty good, bro.
Yeah, no, I'm telling. Hell, not now. Now I will say that sure, money talks again, right? For sure.
Yeah.
So like there are its advantages, but hell no. After being here, the only reason I will ever go back home is because of family.
Asia is amazing, bro. Like Asia
Facts.
is amazing, bro. Like I had like Shanghai was beautiful. Korea was beautiful. Like
Facts.
I imagine Thailand's gonna be amazing. Or whoever gets to
Bangkok's
China.
great. Yeah.
Yeah.
All I'm gonna say is if Thailand don't make Thailand, like disband.
Oh,
The new
disband.
Zeta.
So I might be fine.
The new
Yeah.
Zeta.
So
Disband.
I'm not under
Disband
contract
the.
after this year, so they might just be
Yeah.
like, yeah, fuck that guy.
that made in Thailand's about to be brought up.
Yeah, exactly. But
Made in
you have
Thailand's
to make Thailand. Like you have to.
I know.
I don't care about champs, but you have
okay.
to make Thailand.
Oh, okay, so that's funny that you said that because I don't give a fuck about anything else but chance. But I will say this. I am earnestly trying to put my best foot forward because
Important.
I'm with guys that have never done that. And I think even so, okay, going to the major and not winning it, obviously to me is a fucking waste of time and it puts you basically behind a season, right? But for them, I totally understand. And on a personal level, I think representing the country and being a part of it is something that will I sacrifice a year on? No, I would not sacrifice a year on. But, you know, am I going to try to help them achieve a goal? Yeah, sure. Winning it to me basically is a death sentence for champs, right? So then it gets to a point where like, you know, would you go that far? And then again, I think if I put myself aside, it's way better for them to have done that because so the conversation I like kind of have had with like Cruz in a sense is like, you know, part of the reason why I think he wants to put or he should put the end of his career as serious as possible and not get distracted by like, you know how it is too. As we get older, there are more responsibilities that happen. Babybay knows this too as a player. Like the older you get, like after post Overwatch, he had a lot of different life responsibilities that got in the way of his playing career.
Yep.
And this is going to happen. And I'm like seeing this with team, and I'm like, hey, like the reason why you still got to keep the main thing is because, you know, Fallen, you know, when he was in Kabum, because I was there in CSGO when that whole thing happened, right? What Brazil was, so as a Dota professional, I remember North Americans disrespecting Brazilians by saying, like, if you do something stupid in a pub, bro, this guy's a fucking Brazilian, bro, blah, 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 blah. Like, that used to be a moniker that was used to disrespect an entire place. And when Fallen did what he did in CS, which I was there for, which actually, funny story, we almost signed Gabriel, but instead we decided the simple market. That's crazy story. I, even at the time, didn't understand what the fuck was happening. But now as a grown man, and now that having gone through that whole thing, what he did for that country and for esports in general is crazy. And I talked to you guys about what I thought about my Brazilian boys like 2 years ago. That's just a direct byproduct of what he accomplished. And I've actually told Cruz the same about like what he needs to do, or like what I feel like he needs to do in trying to pursue that same sort of story and motif for Thailand. Because like they're not this like esports epicenter. Sure, they have like a mobile AOV title and stuff, and like, yeah, that's cool, bro. But like, you know, I'm talking like, you know, traditional esports in the way that we've seen it on like PC and or specifically keyboard and mouse, right? And the question becomes, Hector, do you selfishly go, I only play for titles, I don't give a fuck about anything else. Like, don't even talk to me about like this shit doesn't matter. I don't give a fuck. Can you put yourself to the side for the betterment of them? Or do you put all your chips, because you talk about Tejo, right? Like, do you put all the chips in the table for the season to get the champs, to do the things you got to do to win the tournament that you want to win? Or do you go, do we blow our load and focus on trying to win this fucking tournament and do the best that we can? And that becomes, I think, a serious question when looking at that situation because of what you said about the like Thai representation. And for me, believe it or not, we've had like a lot of conversations about this. And
do you think your boys would be more heartbroken if it was not making Thailand or making champs and just getting grouped? What would be more heartbroken for them? What could they not live with themselves over?
So I think for the Americans especially, I think it's more like big picture. The reason why I said like I want it for all of them is because, you know, Governor and Band haven't won a major in their lives. So I think it'll be good for them to be able to compete for one and actually win one. But I think for the Thais, it's going to be fucking gruel. It's going to be excruciating if they don't win.
Yeah.
And I think,
even make it.
I mean, I don't want to like take more time out of the show for this, but I'll just like briefly tell you, like at Soup, I pigeonholed us, which I talked to Babybay last week, which I'll tell you and Chobra now. I basically made us play our permaban last year and Ascent, which we had a 20% win rate all off season. I'm like, our floor has to raise so that we can go deeper in tournaments. So I basically made us pigeonhole every single draft and blah, 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 blah. And then when they lost to Myth, everybody got pissed. And then it was no longer about the plan. It was, fuck that. If we did this, we would have just because we barely lost anyway. We lost like last map, like on Ascent, like on some bullshit, you know, like, but like they got, so that told me right there that like,
how much they care about
that. Like, it's almost like this. It's like, and this is like no disrespect to them, but like, they weren't thinking about titles until I got here anyway, because I have them from other games, right? And just because like people didn't know that before fucking SpikeTalk, that doesn't mean that they didn't fucking happen. Just Google that shit. GMs, by the way. Anyways, right? So like now it's like, yeah, sure, this is what they're playing for, but it being in their home is a different, and I'm having to deal with this now in a way that it didn't occur to me that it would be like last year.
It's a blessing and a curse.
For fucking sure. Because again, and I think you can respect this with what you're seeing personally in both EMEA and through the lens of having someone so close go through this meteoric rise while you're a part of it. Just imagine the story that I just told you about Kabum and Gabriel Toledo, Fallen. Imagine if someone like Cruz pulls it off. Prodigal son of this little region, had a bunch of players, did a bunch of shit. Jersha was in all the early majors. All of a sudden, franchise comes out. He's a little older. People are like, what the fuck is this guy doing? Learns to IGL now, new role. Next year, bottom team. He's IGLing for a full season, like, a real season, not some bullshit that happened last time where they have 10-minute fucking VOD reviews like some dweebs. Like, actually full IGLing, top four in his region. Fast forward that. If it's even possible to qualify or win it, just imagine what that does for him. And not even selfishly. Just imagine what that can do for them. Right? For Premi's overall development in his future, Jett's overall development in his future. Having the OG that can, I've said this to Babybay on the show. He's probably going to be my spiritual successor at coach at some point for sure. Like,
especially
this will
with everything
probably
that you
his
taught
division.
him, like in terms of like culture, and, like how to even be good in the first
place.
Right.
So just imagine that through the lens of what you've gone through. You know what that does for not just someone's life, for the family, for all that stuff, but now magnify it. And I mean this with no disrespect, but just magnify that by a lot more because Jake didn't have to do that for a country.
To be fair, that's the reason why he was so dog shit in China, because he really wanted to win in China. Because he, like me and also most of his fans are in China.
Yeah.
He bottled it so hard because he was like, I put so much pressure on myself. Genji in Korea, EDG in China. Like, it's not a coincidence. It's not
100%. And I'm having to battle the demon because, like, part of me is like, do you show out or do you stick to the game plan, which is like, who the fuck cares, bro? I'm trying to win champs, bro. I got to qualify to that bitch first. Then I got to win that shit. All these other ancillary stuff is cool for you guys, but I'm getting too old. I don't got time for to play around for these minors. And I think that is like at the heart of all competition. We talk about the situations and the faded and the vitality and all that stuff. It's like finding the people that are at the right place at the right time with the right identity is great. And I know you laugh when I said that shit about Gov, but it's true. It's like, it's not a perfect marriage for me and him because the way I want to play and the way I see things is not the best for him.
Why do you low-key hate him? Like,
what do you? Whoa. No, I love Gov. What are you talking about?
I know, but every single sentence that starts about the story about you and Governor is just like always about how you don't get on.
No, what do you mean? We're like this. No.
I know, but every sentence you start with.
Well, yeah. Could be because it's more like it's like the stylistic difference of the situation. Like I don't think enough people understand how these like different styles or personalities or quirks can impact even someone's like in-game identity. Right? Because
I just constantly feel like you guys might stab each other or you might kiss. Like, it feels
No. No, the thing is,
Gov is a lot like me, like the way he thinks, and me and Hector used to butt heads all the time. It makes total sense. Like, it took a lot of time for us to get to understand each other, and
now you kiss.
No,
you're the kissing.
I told him I love early on too. I think me and Babybay, because we talked about this, like had I coached him, because there was a small chance I had to go to FaZe. And I think early on, I don't think it would have been a good match either. And we've talked about this a bunch because, like, I think he had to get old. Like, he had to experience some things in Valorant, and I had to experience the shit I went through at 100 Thieves for us to have been a perfect match. Because I know coming into Valorant what I thought about the game. Like, small example, I thought Jett was trash at first. I was right about Reyna. I was right about Raze. I have never been more wrong about a meta or a character or a situation than Jett. If I coached Babybay at first, him and I briefly talked about this, he would have never played Jett. Because if I had the control, imagine if a dumbass like me would have had the control. in early phase. The Schmieg era never happens. Babybay is not, bro. Babybay and Hiko were the face of Valor in North America
maybe
the
I
first,
would have
like 3 years.
But at the same time, maybe you would have taught me how to play Sentinel. Because
Right.
I was putting foot and ass on Sentinel, but when it came to the match,
Right.
bro, it was completely different.
No.
I think that's the biggest thing I realized about that Sentinel role is like, yo, shit's all cool in scrims, bro. When you're able to like, be like things are chill, like people aren't locked in. Okay, they're running into my trips, bro. When you get in that match on Sentinel, bro, it's fucking different, bro. Like I got a lot of respect for Sentinel players, bro. Like it's
Yin, you know that
it's
because of
different,
Alpha.
bro. It's different.
I'm sure it wasn't an easy transition, and I'm sure
he hates it.
Right. It's
he's fucking good at it. I'll tell you that.
No, but he just gets bored. That's all. I just think he gets bored.
yeah. Oh, yeah. That's the thing about especially Cypher.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're fucking playing Call of Duty camera ops for fucking 10 minutes. And you're just like, bro, can I fucking play the game? Like, can you imagine being a B anchor and the enemy team keeps going A and you're either basically having to retake late or you basically saving or your team just wins every round? You're like, yeah, bro, this is a really
Do you know what, though?
Warm up for nothing.
Dre would have made a killing if ISO came out earlier. I feel like if ISO came out 2-3 years ago, I think Dre would have killed it.
Yeah.
I think if I had a coach like Frost, like around the time when the Schmieg era started falling off, you know what I mean? Because we needed something, we needed to adapt our gameplay, and I knew that, but it's just like I didn't know how, you know. And like there was a time where we were looking for a coach when we had that old roster still with Marv, I think, as well, or maybe it was Marv was just going away. That would have been like perfect timing, or like because even we were thinking about this is unlucky, but I think Def was available too for that IGL role. If we got like Frost and Def together, it's like just we needed some type of leadership, IGL type of leadership.
Yeah, timing matters so much in these, and like you never know this when you're in it. You don't understand it. It's only later where you're like,
there's no way. Yeah, there's no way.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of relationships are like that. Personal friendships, like it's like
you and Governor. Yeah,
me and Van. I mean, me and Joseph. Like a funny story about Joseph, bro. When I was on 100 Thieves, I fucking hated Joseph. Legitimately, I thought he was a brain dead fuck. Oh my god, did I hate playing this kid? As a matter of fact, we even blacklisted Knights. Oh, I fucking hated him. And then, obviously, like. Over time, you get to know somebody, blah, 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 blah. Then you start respecting their game. Then you have them. And now you're like, bro, me and Joe are like...
enemies to lovers.
Oh, hell yeah. Me and Gov never were like that. Me and Gov were always cool. It's more like a NA Tier 2 or NA playstyle thing that is a little different. Because remember, you got to remember, Yin, my learning about tactical FPSs came from Eastern European, like Blade. It was Blade, Markelov, like Bondic, World Edit. I don't think like North America. I'm more EU in how I coach and how I play my games than I will ever be North America.
That's so it's like stars. Weird. You've been to North America. You've been to APAC. Like you're gonna have to come to EU now. That's like that's the next logical.
Oh, that's funny. I could have, lol, multiple times actually. Not even just last season, but yeah, no. It's
there you go then.
But the thing is, and not in jest, this is honest. I fucking hate Berlin. Oh my god.
I've heard some not so good things about Berlin.
Peace the fuck out, bro. No offense. I know.
No. I don't like Berlin either. I don't.
Yeah. No, thank you. As a place to live, it's not awesome. And, I'm like the exact. Yeah, it's no thanks. Never mind.
It's out of the 4 host cities.
Why are you surprised, Chobra? You're fucking lucky. You grew up in this place, which is fucking dope.
But I've been to Germany for a summer for a study exchange trip.
That's right. I know what it is. You like to drink, right? I get it.
He would love Berlin, right? Because it's like
Chobra is down, bro.
No, they don't drink nearly as much as people in Korea. Are you kidding me?
Well, yeah, they don't drink as obsessively, I guess.
No way near.
Yeah. But no, it's not. I don't know. I do get this a lot.
Craft beers. That's what I keep hearing. Like Oktoberfest is like the shit. I don't know. I don't drink, so.
I mean,
maybe I'm just getting bad info.
Yeah, I'm not a big drinker either, but I get why people like it. But I don't know. I feel like I'm the only person around in my life that liked being in Germany. I feel like everybody hates it there.
I don't hate it. I would just rather not. You know, I don't hate it though. Okay. I don't hate
Germany, you're fucking awesome. The people, it's lieber ditch. But seriously, I'd rather go back home.
If I could live in like Shanghai or Seoul or LA, I would choose.
You know what?
Those.
I keep hearing people say Shanghai. Andre especially was so impressed.
We had the best
So
time,
many
bro.
people
We had the
are
was
best.
so
amazing,
impressed by Shanghai Lady. I went to Shanghai for Crossfire. I think it was like 2016. Not
That's when Dre
It's
nearly
so different.
died.
Yeah, it's so
That was when
different.
Dre nearly died.
Yeah.
Yo, funny story about that. Me and Drake realized, or sorry, me and Drake, Jesus Christ, sorry, bro. Me and Andre realized that our lives were so intertwined because we were supposed to be at the same event at the same time and blah, 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 blah,
shit.
and like all this stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
So fucking crazy. I like it.
It was, yeah, that was insane.
And now we're doing fucking SpikeTalk like 20
I'm
years
really
later.
happy.
It's pretty cool, bro.
It is pretty cool.
I'm
how
very
life
happy
kinda
for
works that
you,
way.
but I'm also really happy that Champs is going to be in China in the year after next because that's going to be great. It's going to be fun.
Oh, the leakage. Let's go. The fucking Adam Schefter of
Didn't they
Valorant over
already
here.
say that?
Let's
Didn't
go.
already
Yeah, they did. Yeah,
announce
they did.
it?
I'm trying to give you credit, and you just don't take my grace. You
No,
just-
I don't leak anything.
She's basically fucking Andre Volume 2.
No, I'm not a leaker, mate. Do you know
You just-
what?
just-
There was one time. One time I didn't even leak anything. It was a well-known fact that a specific player was going to G2, and then I went on stream randomly. I was like, oh, like I wonder how. Never mind. And I didn't even say it. I just went, I want to, and then I stopped myself. And then I got a bloody DM from them being like, oh, this is so unprofessional. You, like, as a public figure in this game should never be leaking things. And I was like, I didn't leak anything. Everybody already knew, and I didn't even say the name. I just, like, I stopped myself halfway, like, mid-sentence. So I would never leak anything again. I'm not a leaker. I'm so careful. I don't think you understand. I'm, like, unbelievably
All right, guys.
careful.
She's not a leaking
Yeah.
faucet.
I learned that mistake from the Logitech Superlight mouse, dude. Bro, I literally was like, yeah, I'm playing with this new Logitech mouse, blah blah blah. Like, it was the first Superlight, like, you know what I mean, like, or not this, was it Superlight or the
Yeah, when it first came out.
like you know,
I
yeah,
can't
you know what I'm
believe
talking
you did
about.
that, Dre.
yeah.
I
I
like
can't
showed it
believe.
off on stream, bro. Logitech got so mad at me. I'm like, wow, I fucked up big time.
I can't believe
But like they didn't tell me. They didn't tell me, to be fair.
So
but,
that's
like,
the thing I always find interesting. It's more people have to cover their ass, and this is more like a philosophical thing. But I feel like if you don't tell me to not tell someone, and I'm genuinely excited about something, you can't get mad at me then.
It's a good thing, yeah.
I didn't know.
Right,
bro.
that's what I'm saying. But that happens a lot in esports, especially with especially with sponsors and like stuff like that. It's like, dude, like, you know, say something. Like at least
I
Riot
think-
has these very strict rules about like the things
very
they show
clear.
you and what you can't say.
Very
But a lot of other things aren't like that, and I don't know how the fuck we ended up there. So I even but
Yeah. All right. Okay, bitches. Who do we think will be making Thailand from EMEA?
Well,
Dre,
if I'm
I feel
listening
like
to
you're
you-
very.
I mean,
If I'm listening to you, Vitality.
I'm going Vitality all the way, just because I gotta support my boy.
yeah,
But,
Vitality.
I mean,
think we all
Heretics.
agree.
But Heretics is in the tournament.
Wait, all three of you think Vitality?
Well, no, I was just joking with you. Look, I think they probably have a really good chance, but
For sure, bro.
I was really, I still think KC has it in them. Like, there's something about that little
AC,
roster
bro.
that,
You think they're gonna make a run like
bro,
that?
they did that shit last year.
A
too. They just-
generational run?
You got to think about it. You even said it too. It's not generational because you even said it too.
Beginning run, huh?
Early on, they do their thing. Aang has this thing about early on. He's like ahead of the game and stuff. And I think this could possibly be it.
I mean, they made it last year. This is
Right,
where
that's
they
what I
made
said.
it to Madrid.
That's what I said. Yeah. So, for me, it was always, no offense to Navi, but it was always going to be Carmine and Vitality. Depends on who. I mean, I will say you might have swayed a little bit, but I think KC has a decent chance. I think my gut says Vitality. My gut also says Heretics. Sorry. Yeah.
Heretics,
with the
dude.
FNATIC
Heretics
one,
is
but,
nasty, man. Heretics
yeah.
is gonna be so good in this meta too, like Sue was saying.
I think my top
Like,
three is my losers finals will be like, it's going to be like Vitality, Carmine Core, or Heretics. It would be like the way I've,
2 out of the
Okay.
3.
yeah.
I'm gonna double back on that because originally I didn't have Vitality going in my mind, but our discussion swayed me. But I'll go back to my original thought. I'll go with Foot and Heretics,
Yeah.
but I'll agree with Heretics.
Foot in ass.
But-
Let's go, boy.
but
Turkish
There you
pride.
go.
Let's go.
Yeah, I mean, we said it earlier, right? I mean, Foot's always solid,
they're
and I
good.
think with
Yeah.
the current way that Valorant's changing the tempo and everything, and Tejo and all of that, I think Foot should be able to find some kind of lead.
You fallen for
suits
falling.
them.
I respect it.
Yeah.
I do also think, given that like they're positioned quite nicely, where they play on Jan 22nd when everyone would have played by Jan 17th. So I think they are definitely going to use that time very wisely. Like there's only one thing that's scarier than Foot and Heretics, and that is giving Gaius and Neozenio like 5 extra days. They're gonna be incredible. So
format is
I think Foot and Heretics are like the safe choices. Like that would not shock me. That would be the like, oh, of course they were gonna go. But I still have faith in Vitality. So I think they might they might upset somebody. Yeah, is what I'm thinking. But Dre, you said Vitality. You didn't say you got to say one more. Your last one.
Heretics. It's got to be. I mean, they're going to be good no matter what. And now, they got second. I don't know. This team is just too good, bro. I glazed them up so much last year, basically, of the fact that they can play a new comp and instantly become good at it.
Yeah.
And I just feel like now that they have
Hector,
time,
they run the comps you run, but way better than you, man. Like, oh yeah, I
dead
remember
ass
that
though,
one.
like dead ass, bro.
Yeah.
It's actually fucked.
They're better at turning strategies over on a dime, brother.
It's actually crazy. Like, imagine if you got to work with that roster, though, bro. You'd do.
Wow,
Just imagine if you can get good, Hector.
You're gonna do Governor like that? He doesn't deserve that.
I mean, bro,
Apologize with tears.
At a certain point, bro, game recognized game, and it just is what it is. You know what I mean? Like, you can't deny what you're seeing, bro. You can't deny the truth.
Yeah. The truth being, talent is ass, bro. You open up a show like that, it hasn't stopped. That shit is insane work, bro. But anyways, yeah.
All right.
But no. I think this is gonna be fun. I think EMEA. I thought what you said though, too. Closing thought for me. What you said about NA though, I agree with. Back to all the way in the beginning, you said
NA
that
being
is the most competitive. Girl, that was.
I can't tell you who's making it from NA.
Yes.
I have zero idea. Like,
Yep.
yeah, any of them. I hope it's NRG, but yeah, other than that, I got nothing.
Dre's got to bounce
I hope.
because we kept yapping. We'll let him
Oh
go.
yeah, let's go.
He's good.
Sorry, I got a riot meeting, everybody.
Peace out.
So I know I showed up late, but it's a war zone over here.
Good luck.
We
Yeah.
never go this long anyway, so this is a whole weirdo episode. We're good.
Damn, that's what she said.
All right, ladies
That's
and
actually
gents,
what she said.
I'm out of here.
Bye,
Peace.
Dre. Much
Peace out,
love.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
Sue. Bye. Thank you guys for filling.
Dude, it is 3 a.m. I am cooked.
Yeah, it's late.
All right.
We can wrap it up here.
All right, bitches. Yo, Chobra, Steve was hitting me up about your hitbox. You're one of us, bro. Yes, sir.
Heck yeah.
Is that how we wrap it up? Okay, bye.
Yep.
No.
No, we should have done a
Put more bow on
do
it.
the outro now.
Andre
actually,
just had to
even
run,
if Andre's
so I was
gone.
letting him go.
Yeah,
Everybody was looking at Discord.
Yeah.
Yinsu, thanks for really just taking over the.
I
the
think you
control
had
of the
too
pace
much fun,
because,
actually.
I didn't have to be hosting Babybay's place, and you guys. This honestly, I think this will probably be one of our more popular episodes. This is a killer conversation. Got to have both you guys back throughout the season. This was awesome. Thanks so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
You guys have anything to promote going on in the near future?
I'll be on Kickoff here and there, but this year I'm going to try to focus more on like a lot of watch parties and a lot more content and whatnot. So you guys can find me on YouTube and Twitch. Will Chobra, it's all the same. So just digging deeper into Valorant. That's what it is.
Can't wait to see the tier list.
My Pacific pickups are out. And
Hey, okay.
they're fire, one way or another.
I'm gonna go watch it. I just want to say, make sure
I have
everyone,
friends.
everyone, make sure you stream Torture Poets Department on Spotify, and and hope everyone love Taylor Swift as much as I do.
I do, but I don't. I think it's one of her weaker albums on my list, if I had to say. But we won't go down that tangent. So. I go OG. I'm like,
you're so
I'm
wrong.
a fan of self-titled. That's how.
Yeah, you're so wrong. You're so wrong. I like debut, but Torture Poets, we have to. Yeah, that's my
promo.
promo.
Ready for at the end of the podcast, and I'll let it go.
Yeah.
But just
Okay.
to spare.
All I heard was Tejo the Pendejo. That's all I heard.
Talk about Taylor Swift. It's your favorite.
Oh, Taylor, not Tejo. Oh, my bad. That's all me.
All right. Much love.
Thanks, guys.
Peace out.
Peace out.
Thank you.